Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
Hello, Cameron Haynes.
God.
Dude, this is the
I'm
launch
nervous.
day. Shut the fuck up.
I'm
Drink
nervous.
That. How can you be nervous? You run thousands of miles and you're a psycho. This is the collaboration that we did with Killcliff. It's out today. It's a spicy cherry.
What's it called?
It's called Elk Blood.
Elk blood.
The
How
other one's-
sick is that?
Cheers, sir.
Thank you. You too. How sick is that? Elk blood.
It's good, too. We went over, like, man, how many iterations did we go over?
About 20.
Yeah, there was a shitload. We kept tweaking it, and, you know, it's just like, it's kind of the same thing that we did with the Flaming Joe. You got to get it right. It takes a long time. But those guys, whatever they're doing, whatever fucking alchemy they're doing to make this stuff so delicious.
Yeah, this is good. This is really good. And I just love that it's, well, first it says Cam Haynes and Joe Rogan, Elk Blood.
And
How
it's
sick's that?
CBD, so it's got 25 milligrams of CBD, and we're going to do an Ignite version as well.
No sugar.
No sugar. It's got caffeine. How much caffeine does it have?
125.
125. That ain't shit, bro. We've been
like a
drinking
cup
those
of
Black
coffee.
Rifle coffees. Those Black Rifle coffees will ruin you. They're so good. Have you had them?
They're good.
You want one of them?
I love them.
We'll bust them out too.
A lot of sugar.
Whoo, there's so much sugar.
Yeah, that's
cheating.
I know. I was drinking that. I was like, holy shit, this thing is so good. And then I was like, what is going on here? Then I look and I'm like, oh, that's why.
How many milligrams does it have of sugar? Google. Well, you just go grab a few for us.
Infinity.
I love them. I'm going to drink one right now. I'm
No,
a good boy.
They are so good. I mean, if you're not hung up on sugar like I am.
I'm hung up on it too.
Yeah.
You should be. You really should be. But it's a wonderful treat.
It is.
Occasionally.
Yeah, if you reward yourself.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if you run 100-miler,
Right.
I'm like, I can have a good Black Rifle coffee, ready to drink with some sugar.
Well, you know, Floyd Mayweather drinks Coca-Cola or Pepsi. I forget which one, but he drinks it he drinks soda essentially right after he works out sometimes. And I talked to a nutritionist. He said, actually, like post rigorous exercise like that, it's actually a pretty effective way of dumping glucose back in your body. It sounds gross.
Yeah.
You work out. You're the best boxer of all time. You know, and you're fucking. These are not
Thank
the
you.
300s though.
I thought that's what you want. One of these?
Yes.
You want the other can?
This is the real bad
I better
boy.
have one too. But yeah,
Yeah,
no.
but these are fucking awesome too, man. These have too much sugar as well.
No, I know.
They
'Cause
definitely all have too much sugar.
Dan the fitness man came and trained with me one time, Elk Shape.
Yeah.
Dan Staten.
Yeah.
And
I love his podcast. He's got great YouTube videos too.
He is good. I mean, he's just
Seems like a great guy.
He's just an elk hunter.
Yeah.
And just a good guy who works his ass off.
Yeah, seems like it.
Doesn't talk shit about
Seems like
me.
a real good guy.
That makes me like him.
That's a nice thing.
But-
a lot of people talk shit about you, Cam Haynes.
I know. But he gave me one of these, and that's where I was like, wait a second. I got a little, why is this so good?
It's too good. It's too good. What is
But-
the milligrams of sugar? You can read this. I can't read this with a light this dim.
Where is it?
Does it say 16? 18. Total sugars, 18 grams.
18, yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That's actually not too bad.
Well, it's not compared to apple juice.
I thought it
Do you
was
know how much
more.
fucking apple juice has in it?
Total sugars.
My daughter
the
pointed this out
says
to me.
This is 28.
What's the matter? It doesn't say 18?
That says 28.
It says 18, right?
Pulling out his light, though, just making sure.
Oh, he has good eyes.
Yeah, this says 18.
He has crazy vision, dude. He
Yeah.
can see weird shit. Like, I dropped my phone once when we were at Tejon Ranch. I dropped it on the ground, and he's, it cracked. I go, where? And he's like, in the middle. I'm like, no way, really? And I'm like fucking doing this. He's like, saw it from, I was holding it over here, and he saw it.
Yeah, but you're 3 months older than me.
Yeah, I'm
So,
older.
in
my
3 months-
my eyes are not as good.
In 3 months, I'll be where you are.
No. You have weird vision. You really do. Like, your vision is extraordinary. And I always wonder. I wonder if that's from so much time in the mountains. Because one of the things they say that's fucking with people's eyes is we're constantly looking at short distances. And it's sort of distorting our eyes because of that. And that's why Andrew Huberman recommends looking at great distances for like a good period of the day. Like it's actually a good thing to do for your eyes.
Well, you know what I've always done still, but I've talked about it a few times, but I will run at night and I never wear a light. Like I'll run on Pisgah, the mountain I run and never have a
Bro, are
headlamp.
you trying to get eaten? What are you doing?
No, well, I'm not worried about that, but
Don't people get eaten up there?
in my head, no. But in my
Come on. Didn't someone
Pisgah? I don't think
in
so.
Oregon recently get eaten?
Not
Was
that I
it-
know of.
There was 2 people last year that got
In
on the
Alberta?
Pacific Northwest.
In Alberta, a woman was killed by a black bear last year.
Yeah, I heard about that one. But wasn't there a couple people that were killed by mountain lions
Like
last
a
year?
2018 hiker, broken neck puncture wounds by a cougar.
Broken neck
In
from a
Oregon.
cougar. You imagine that motherfucker grabbing your neck.
Speaking of my neck, look at this.
What's going on?
Look at this bling.
Look at the bling. You got a
I wore this
CH bling.
I've only had this on. This is the second time.
Oh my God. Are you hanging out with rappers?
I know.
What's going on?
I'm celebrating my JRE appearance, but so that was the whole reason why I wore it, just to do that right there.
That's adorable.
Scooby the jeweler he made that for me, and he hand delivered it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's when you can wear bling, when someone gives it to you.
What I was gonna say was
cool.
So
If you went out and bought that for yourself, it's a little questionable. Right? Unless you're like a Machine Gun Kelly type person. A very
about it.
flamboyant,
What happened?
like a rapper or some rock star.
You can get one and rock it hard.
no, my vision,
I
my
can't.
vision.
I wear old man shoes. People make fun of my shoes.
And
I
every
know,
so
you
often
should be wearing
break
these
out your
fuckers.
I
But hey,
would wear those.
But listen, so my vision is the bling with a bearskin jacket.
I like
At-
it.
at
A
the-
bear that you killed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, everybody's got to shut the fuck up if you actually killed the bear.
yeah.
I ate him too. We ate his pepperoni.
Right
Dude, we're
here.
eating bear
Dude.
pepperoni. It's delicious. It's
So
very,
good.
very good.
So good.
Shout out to whoever processed that for you, whatever butcher did that for you.
This is in Cottage Grove, Oregon, and Gates.
Yeah.
Gates Family Tradition Meats.
There's a bunch of those folks out there that are, it's like they're the unsung heroes of the wild game world.
That is so good, and that's
Yeah.
bear. And
Oh,
people are like,
yeah.
oh, you can eat bear?
Summer sausage. I've had bear summer sausage. It was delicious.
Well,
You know who's the best for talking about all this stuff? Because, you know Jesse Griffiths, the guy who's the chef of Die Due? It's a restaurant here in Austin, and I actually heard him on Steve's podcast, Ranella's Meat Eater podcast, before I met him. So I'd heard him there, and then I had him on as a guest. Fucking super interesting guy. But he's the best at taking wild game and making it insanely delicious. He's just because he's an excellent chef, and he loves food, and he loves hunting.
Yeah.
And he teaches courses where he takes people out hunting. What is his school called
The
again?
new school of traditional cookery.
New School of Traditional Cookery. So he takes people and he'll hunt hogs with them. He'll teach them how to shoot a hog, how to butcher it, and then he teaches them how to cook it. And the guy is a fucking unsung hero in the world of like taking wild game and making it just the most extraordinary dish you've ever had. We had diver duck. Diver duck's supposed to be gross.
Yeah.
That's what everybody says.
Right.
Because diver ducks eat whatever the fuck is on the bottom of the ocean, or the bottom of the lake, rather.
Yeah.
Well, most people don't like the way they taste, but he had this way of marinating them. I don't want to like say to his process because I don't really totally remember it. I don't want to fuck it up. But the result was fucking insane. It was so good.
Yeah.
No one could stop eating it. It was so good.
Well, I mean, imagine what he could do with bear.
Oh, yeah.
If he did that magic with duck.
Well, what Jen Rivet can do with bear.
I know.
She makes those bear roasts in the Traeger and cooks them for like fucking 16 hours.
I wanted to bring, so I had that ham. I
Yeah.
sent you a picture of, because my goal was, I thought, oh, maybe we can cook this, because I thought you were going to have a Traeger here at the studio.
Yeah, we did. We do, actually. It's just not hooked up through the ceiling yet.
Right. I remember, so I'm like, oh, we could marinate this thing. And so I had Jen send me her marinating recipe. You know, it's got brown sugar, it's got all the shit in it. Of
course.
Pineapples.
Yeah,
And
they know how to make shit delicious.
so Trace did all that and got it, but of course we don't have a Traeger. So I'm like, well, I'll bring some bear pepperoni. And
Perfect.
I was asking because everybody, they're so concerned about trichinosis. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Steve Ranella made everybody nervous about it because they got sick.
Well,
obviously.
he got sick after he warned everybody forever. It's the craziest thing. It's almost like he wanted to get it.
Yeah, he manifested it.
Because he always said that he wanted to get scratched by a grizzly. Just scratched. He just wanted to, like, fuck a tattoo.
Sounds good.
I want claws across the chest, you know? But I think then he had that encounter on
Yeah.
Fognac Island where they got rushed by an 11-foot brown bear.
Right.
And he goes, all that shit's out the window. Fuck that.
Had the come to Jesus moment after that.
100% come to Jesus
Yeah,
moment. An
yeah.
11-foot bear that's claimed an elk that you shot, and you don't know about it, and you're
That's
eating
intense.
lunch, sitting around in his territory. You're just so
Yeah.
relaxed. You've let your guard down. You're just like, hey, we're good.
Well, what I was going to say was, so I asked Gates, Tanner's, he's a young kid, just kicking ass, does such a great job with your wild game meat. But I said, what's the process for making pepperoni? Because people are nervous about cooking and trichinosis. So they put it in like a smoker type oven, and it's at 160 for an hour, 165 for an hour, 155 for an hour, and then 145 for 5 hours. So it's 7 hours of cooking.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so there's no worry.
No worry of trichinosis.
Right, and it just tastes amazing. It's got that little. I said, does it have a little pop to it when you eat it? You know, like you bite into a little pop on that the shell out here. He's like, oh yeah, it's got the pop, and it does, and it's. Everybody here who tried it, I've given it to. I took some to my old work yesterday. Everybody loves it.
It's good. Mm-hmm. What's weird is, and this is a little known fact, when the settlers were making their way across America, they would kill bear for meat and they would kill deer for the hides. And that was their preferred food, was bear.
Right.
Because it was closer to beef. And when they named, like, a dollar bill is a buck, because a buck, that's what a buckskin was. It was a dollar.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's why, yeah, that's where that term came from.
Yeah, I learned so much on this podcast.
I've got a lot of useless information bouncing around in my head. But that's a fascinating one. Like, I wonder what shifted where they stopped eating bear. And then all of a sudden, bear became a teddy bear. And bear became your friend. And bear became Yogi. And bear became, only you can prevent forest fires. All of a sudden, the bear is just like this weird anthropomorphized version of what you experience when you're out there in the woods,
Right.
and what anybody experiences, and what, you know, when people get rushed by bear. I don't know if you've seen the video of these guys that are on a dirt bike, and this guy wipes out in front of a bear's den.
I saw that. That thing comes boiling out of there. Intense.
Oh my God! Pull that up, Jamie. We have to see it because it's so scary. They're so scary.
Do we have a Pull It Up Jamie shirt?
I think Jamie has one.
Oh, good.
Jamie, you have Pull It Up Jamie shirts, right?
I think so.
Is it on Jamie? Is it on pulleitupjamie.com?
No,
Youngjamie.com?
It should have been on that.
It should be on pulleitupjamie.com. These fucking scoundrels.
There's a link on that website.
Oh, thanks, Eric.
Your merch, dude.
But
You got to
it's
get your
on
merch
youngjamie.com.
going.
Look at this youngjamie.com. Look at this video. If that guy didn't rev the engine, who knows what that bear would have done to them.
God.
That dude, very smart, revving that engine.
I
Very
know.
smart.
Oh,
That
man.
is a very, very smart move. Whoever that guy who did that,
Yeah.
that guy probably saved their lives.
Yeah. Those
Holy
things.
fucking shit, those things are terrifying.
Yeah, they are. They're monsters.
They are the killers of the forest.
Yeah.
That's all they do.
Hey, you know what? This is a point. So you had the Alaska bone people up, remember?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
remember
John
that
Reeves.
remember that video where they had the brown bear and the muskox? You watched that, right?
Yes.
Killing the calves.
Yeah.
So I just had a study sent to me, but they had a radio collar. Maybe you guys talked about this. I can't remember, but a radio collar on grizzlies up there. And it was they killed 7 bear, and the camera was going off every 10 or 15 minutes, and this was during calving season or like caribou calves. But they killed. I'm going to pull it up right here just so I have the exact number, just because people won't even probably believe it. But they killed. So video camera footage of these 7 brown bears showed that they killed approximately 238 moose and caribou calves across the 45 days. That's an average of about 34 moose and caribou calves per bear.
Holy shit.
In 45 days, 238. So that was 7 bear just killing.
So this is what is always weird to me. We have these things that are in our head, like acceptable narratives of animals that you're allowed to kill. Like, you're allowed to kill fish. People don't freak out about it. You're allowed to kill birds. But when you get into certain animals, and I really do think it has something to do with like Disney movies. I really
Definitely.
do.
Has to.
Has to. Because it's in our head as a kid that bears are cool.
Well, and you go to the zoo, you see a
Yeah,
bear.
they're
It's
cool.
not doing shit. It's just laying there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And then you see it that reinforced on the movies or the shows, and then
And you see circus bears.
right, and harmless.
Yeah.
And like, why would somebody want to kill one of these things? But then you go into the wild, and you see like where I was just bear hunting last week in Alberta. These bear come in, and it was funny because the sows would come in, and they would just be growling, fighting, doing the alarm call, getting all puffed up. And I'm like, they live with each other every single day, all year. Why are you so pissed off? I mean, it's like, why would you be so mad at somebody you live with every day, right?
Yeah.
But they are just so competitive. And then the males come in his breeding season, and then the boar I killed came in, and it was pretty fascinating because you wouldn't even see him, and the bear would all be looking up, the other bear, the smaller boars or the sows, they'd be looking towards where he's coming, and then he'd show up. And so it was pretty cool because I remembered back the day before I saw a sow, and she was like walking and like kind of doing like this, like really hard steps. And I'm like, are they picking up vibration from the walking? And so she's trying to sound bigger like this because because I put it together when the boar I killed, giant boar, he was coming before they could see him. They were looking and getting startled, running up trees. And I'm like, are they feeling that vibration of a heavier animal coming?
Wow.
A bigger boar.
They have that much sensitivity
I
on the
think.
ground. I bet it makes sense.
Because I saw the smaller sow like trying to stomp. And I'm like, it just makes sense that what was going on because they knew that the bear I killed was coming long before they could see him.
So a bear the size of the bear you killed is like a tyrant.
Yeah.
Right? He kills all the babies. He kills whatever he can get a hold of. He kills younger bears. They cannibalize.
Right.
That's what's
infanticide.
Yeah, there's so much of that and cannibalize. Like if a bear gets shot by a hunter and you get to it, there's a possibility that other bears are eating it already.
Right. Yeah,
like
that
real
happens.
good possibility.
That happens often.
It happens often.
If you have to leave it overnight,
yes,
there's a chance it's going to be eaten.
which is fucking wild. But that's the world. It's not a world of yogi.
No.
And this is a crazy idea of this animal that people have, which is makes people take selfies with them and do all this crazy shit that they do at like Yellowstone, those wackadoos that get in front of bison. It's like we have these ideas about what these things are that's
Right.
based on a bullshit version of them, including
Right.
the Yellowstone version.
Yep.
When we were in Yellowstone, you could hang out 10 feet from an elk. They're just right there.
Right.
They don't worry about people at all. They're hanging out in the visitor center. They're laying down in front of everybody.
That was probably not September then because they weren't rutting.
No,
Was
they
it
weren't rutting.
summer?
No, it was the summertime. But it was totally alien behavior.
Right.
Like completely domesticated.
Yeah.
And just imagine what it was like when they reintroduced wolves into that area.
Oh God. Bloodbath.
Because this is the animal that you're dealing with. You're forcing an animal to be reintegrated with the most ferocious death.
Right.
So you think there's too
Killing
many of
machines,
them.
yeah.
You think it's imbalanced. You think they shouldn't have killed off the wolves. Okay. Well, now what? Now you're just going to, all these cute elk that have been hanging out at the visitor center are just going to get butchered.
Yeah.
And they don't know what the fuck a wolf is.
Right.
They've had generation after generation after generation, no wolves.
Yeah.
They're like, no wolves. Great. We're just out here
Yeah.
hanging out. No, the occasional mountain lion, whatever. But an occasional mountain lion is nothing like a pack of wolves.
No.
The pack of wolves makes a whole lot more wolves, and they all stay together, and they hunt together.
They got a process for killing. They got it down. They got it down.
They've got some sort of telepathy or something going on.
You've seen where they communicate where one wolf will tire out, the next wolf will fill in. You know,
Yes.
like a little relay team.
Yeah.
Wearing out one animal.
Yeah.
You know, the prey animal. And it's they'll wipe stuff out. Just like the brown bear and those 7 brown bear. They're born to kill. They don't know when to stop. You know? So it's not, I saw somebody said on my page, they said, well, wouldn't they kill and just come back and just eat off that for later and live off that one kill? I'm like, what? What are you talking about?
But they go on rampages sometimes.
No, you flip that switch on.
Yeah.
They're killing everything.
Yeah, they're not like Native Americans. They only want to
No.
like kill what
I'm
they
using
use.
every piece of this animal.
Yeah, no, they're not like that. They don't have any. They don't have any idea of conservationism. Their idea is to just kill everything that's in front of them. And there was what was it recently? There was a crazy one where this pack of wolves killed like an enormous number of elk. It was like 18 elk, something crazy.
Yeah.
Just went on a
I remember
rampage.
seeing that, yeah.
Just I don't know what happened or how they got
That
so
happens.
many of them, but
It happens with livestock all the time.
yeah. Well, can you see if you can find it? It was like surplus killing. I believe it was in Wyoming, if I remember correctly. But they were shocked. They were like, Jesus, they just killed them.
Yeah.
They weren't even eating them.
Right.
They just went on a rampage. They weren't hungry.
That's what they're born to do.
Yeah. Wolfpack slaughters 19 elk in rare surplus killing. So this is in 2016.
It's not rare though. I mean, so even that word rare.
Yeah.
Well, who's saying rare?
Well, I think it's rare they get that many. I
Oh,
wonder.
probably.
I wonder what the circumstances were where they could kill that many.
Yeah.
There's a photo of all the elk lined
Right.
up.
That was right up.
It's
above.
horrible.
Yeah.
Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm not convinced that it's rare. I think it's rare that we find out about it.
How many wolves did that? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
I don't know.
I want to know how many wolves. If there was 19, what, you got 50 wolves up there? You got 100 wolves? Like, are there fucking super packs up there that we don't know about?
I don't. I
Do they
think
have a good accounting of how many wolves are up there?
Oh, it says 9 wolves.
9 wolves.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think it would take that many to do that.
That's incredible.
Because those are all, see, it's 17 calves. So that's kind of the point with that muskox video is those were calves. They can't run.
And 2 adults. Yeah, 17 calves and 2 adults. Wow.
I mean, they can't run like a full grown muskox or elk or anything else. So they're pretty much just ripe for the picking. That's bear, even black bear will follow elk around when they know it's calving season. Right when the calf is born, they'll kill it.
Like I said, Lund also described the kill to CNN as sport killing, although the consensus among biologists and wildlife officials is that wolves do not hunt for sport, but sometimes kill more than they can eat at one point, especially in winter when frigid temperatures preserve the killed prey for later consumption. You know what I bet, though? I bet they can't help themselves when they see calves.
No.
I
That's
bet
what
it's
I say.
like a
The
kitten
switch is
with
on.
Yeah, it's like a kitten with a ball of yarn. Roll a ball of yarn in front of a kitten. Rah! They just, if they see babies, like baby moose, baby deer, baby elk, like
Time to
fuck,
kill.
time to kill. You
Well-
don't get a chance. They're babies for a short amount of time. You got to get them now.
Somebody else said that too, that they didn't know animals kill just for the fun of it. I'm like, you ever seen a house cat?
Bro, house cats kill literally billions of
Yeah.
animals a year.
Yeah.
Or feral cats, really. It's
Right.
mostly outdoor cats. I mean, I bet a lot of the killing is done by actual feral cats. But
know,
a
you know-
lot of it is done by people's pets.
You've seen pets that bring back a bird or a mouse and just lay it down there.
yeah. I had a cat. She was the sweetest, fluffiest thing. And she would bring back a bird like she did some awesome thing. She wanted me to see it. Mm-hmm. And she's just a ball of love at any other time. Unless she saw a bird.
It's
And
natural
just
instinct.
Death. A mouse, death.
Natural.
Yeah.
You know,
they play with them.
You know what's weird is like, so Marshall.
Yeah.
You see dogs. They see a squirrel outside. They're automatically in hunt mode. I don't know is Marshall.
Oh, dude, he killed 2 last week.
Right.
He's been on a rampage. So now
And
it's fucked
the
up.
nicest, fluffiest,
Oh.
sweetest dog.
A
Yeah.
bundle of love. He's all love, but he wants to fuck up squirrels and also turtles. So we have to protect the turtles from him now. So now I have to wander around my fucking yard looking for turtles.
He kills them.
He kills them. Yeah, he fucked one of his teeth up, biting the shit out of this turtle shell. I'm like, bro, like, what are you doing?
So
Like,
does he-
where's the real Marshall? Where's my buddy?
Does he try to get there? Because
trying to kill 'em.
They go in. Does he
Yeah.
just crush a whole shell?
He's trying to fucking chew at them while they're in there.
Man, Marshall.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah.
It was horrible. He's done it to a couple of them now. So now
Yeah.
when we go outside, we have to look for turtles first
Right.
because they come up to try to lay their eggs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just animal instinct.
It's just animal instinct, and it's a sad one because it's like I think turtles are cool. I don't want the turtle babies to get fucked up on my dog.
I remember. I'm still kind of traumatized by this. I was driving back from scouting for elk, and driving along this Mohawk River Road, and a turtle was crossing the road. And I hit it just ran over it.
Swoosh.
And the sound.
Oh,
and I was just like,
God.
it was haunting. Like
Yeah.
popping a turtle in my truck. I was just like, that was 30 years ago.
This is why I think we have this relationship with turtles, because they've never done anything to us. The
about
worst thing that's
snapping
ever
turtles?
happened to us, but only if you
things fight.
fuck with them. They don't come for you.
No.
I think they evolved because they evolved with people in Florida. That's my theory. People in Florida were fucking with them, and they just developed the ability to bite them. That's
don't
my
know.
theory. That's
Maybe.
my theory.
I'll go with that.
Aren't they snapping turtles in Florida mostly? It's probably a shitty theory, but the point is, like, turtles don't fuck with people.
No.
You can get diseases from them, though. If you have them as pets, you have to be real careful. They can give you diseases.
I had a turtle. Turtle are pretty low maintenance as a pet. Like I had a little tiny one when I was a kid.
I had a few of them, and they
Really?
will fuck up some goldfish.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Whoa! Look at the size of that thing.
See, that would
That's
kill.
a snapping turtle. That looks like Yoda.
That would kill somebody.
That would bite your fucking hand right off your wrist.
Yeah, it would.
Snap. Ah! Look at that monster.
See that one's.
Look at the scales on that
Oh
thing.
my God, that thing's coming for Marshall.
That thing doesn't even look like a real thing. Nah, I don't think they hunt. But my dog's so dumb, he'd probably try to bite it. Oh my God, that's its eyeball.
Look at its nose. Its nose looks like weird.
Bro, that looks like something right out of Dune.
There are pig-nosed turtles.
Yeah. I don't know, but that
What is the biggest snapping turtle? Is there? Because I think there's a few different species. I think isn't there one called an alligator
That's the
snapping
one.
turtle?
That's what we're looking at.
Look at that thing. It's 70 pounds. The fuck? 70-pound turtle with a mouth from hell. Look at that mouth. If that was in one of those
Yeah, that looks
Hellbound
scary.
movies, Hellraiser movies, if that was like one of the demons, you'd be like, yeah, I buy that. Look at its fucked up maw with staring at you in a dark hallway
Oh man,
while it's wearing like a leather corset.
that's pretty intense.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah.
That looks like a demon.
Oh,
That totally
That
looks like a
does.
demon.
That's what
They could
orcs
make
look
'em-
like, right?
Yeah, that looks like, I was just going to say Lord of the Rings.
they could make a movie with that thing.
That totally looks like it belongs in Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Look at that fucking face. Look at its eyes. Jesus Christ, those eyes are evil as fuck.
I'm glad I didn't hit that with my truck.
Dude, there's something about reptile eyes that scare the shit out of you.
Yeah, so
Look at those eyeballs.
they say like with snakes, if their eyes are like a slit, like slit, or if they're round, the snake's fine, not poisonous, not dangerous. If they're slits, poisonous.
Really?
The problem is you got to get that close to see their eyes.
Oh,
so
dude.
like you said, your eyes aren't very
My
good.
eyes aren't very good.
No,
I'm not
you-
going to be able to tell.
You take one right in the face.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. A friend of mine sent me videos of her garage. She's like, are these bad? And there's two fucking coral snakes
Ooh,
making their way through the garage. I'm like, those are real bad. Those
Yeah.
are real bad.
right.
Yeah, don't
There's some
fuck with
nasty
them.
I mean,
Because coral snakes are weird. Because they don't have the head. Like when you see the head of a rattlesnake, you see that diamond-shaped head, you're like, oh, that thing's poisonous.
well, and it's pretty clear that they're pissed. Their tail's going off. They look
Yeah.
fucking mean.
They're
big
letting you
fangs.
know.
You're like, okay.
There's some consequences involved in getting close to me.
Yeah, and it's very evident.
Yeah, very evident. They don't want to die.
Right.
That's all it is. They don't want to die. And if they think you're gonna get too close and you're trying to grab them, time to get bit.
Yeah.
But
That
coral
is-
snakes, they look beautiful. They're gorgeous. Have you seen them in person?
I don't think so. No.
They have them out here, man. They're fucking beautiful. They're this like multicolored. Look how cool they look.
Yeah, those do look cool.
But you look at the head, it's not that fucking triangular thing that you're scared of.
But look, that eye's round though. Uh-oh, there goes my
There's a
theory.
slit though. There's a slit up and down. See the up and down slit?
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to tell because there's a reflection in it, but what a fucking beautiful snake.
I know.
God, they're so look at that. That's so gorgeous. What is it about like nature and creating some animals that are just extraordinarily beautiful?
God, see those
And then pigs.
I guess I know. I
Pigs
guess
get the short end of the stick.
my eye theory is thrown out the window though. So scratch that.
Did I tell you what my agent said to me?
What?
My agent loves animals. She's a wonderful lady. She loves animals. She goes, but you can hunt pigs because they're ugly.
Okay.
I was like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. See, that's a problem.
That's discrimination.
It is.
In the animal kingdom,
I
nobody
know.
wants you to hunt a tiger. They're gorgeous.
The theory's not off, but it's
Oh.
Thin black vertical pupils. Yeah. So you got to.
Okay. So it's a up and down. Huh.
that's
Yes.
the pupil. You gotta even see.
So
the
you got
pupil.
to see the pupil. That's the problem.
Oh, you can't get that close. Oh, you can't get that
See if they've been
close.
taking drugs.
You can't get that close.
Yeah.
If you get that close, you fucked up.
Right. So.
You should be backing up.
so I
That's what
guess
you should be doing.
I was right, but this is gonna be tough to find out.
I ran over a rattlesnake once, and
Hmm.
I didn't know it was a rattlesnake until I was mid leap over it. It was in the middle of the
Oh,
road. My dogs
running,
ran
yeah.
over it too.
Oh, God.
We were running in the, my old house.
Yes.
The
Yeah, that
canyon.
trail. Mm-hmm.
So we're running down that trail, and we run over this thing that looks like like a branch in the road.
Yeah.
Like a kind of thick branch
Mm-hmm.
in the road. And as I'm over it, I realize it's a fucking huge rattlesnake.
Oh man.
And I have 2 pit bulls with me. And they've been bit a bunch of times.
Really?
Oh,
By
they don't-
rattlesnakes?
They don't give a fuck.
So what happens?
They go. You got to take them to the fucking hospital.
Yeah.
They have to get anti-venom.
Right,
Their head
yeah.
swells up like a balloon. Yeah, and they're sick for a few days, and then they bounce out of it. But they can. It's funny. He got bit. My dog Frank. He was my craziest dog. His day would be spent. We had a big yard, and his day would be spent looking for lizards, just trying to catch lizards fucking up. So he was like playing a video game outside. It's like that was his thing. Like just like whatever is moving, I'm trying to get you. And so when I would run with him, but I would always have to like stay close to him because just in case like a raccoon was there or something, because he'd 100% jump on
Yeah,
it.
it'd be a bloodbath.
If he saw that rattlesnake, so I had to say, okay, I am just going to run and keep running because the whole trail's like another mile in this direction, and then come back. And that rattlesnake
gone.
had to know we just ran over
Right.
it, so he's gonna hide. Hopefully they don't find it because I'm tired. And the back end of that is uphill.
Yeah, I
and the
remember
dogs
that.
are
It's
not
pretty
as tired
steep.
as me.
Pretty steep.
The dogs are way better at running than me. It's always slow down,
Yeah.
slow down, guys.
They
slow
can
down.
pull you though, like water skiing.
Yeah, but I don't have them on a leash.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I don't like to run with dogs on a leash. I
Yeah.
like them to be free. If it's
Right.
an area, and like Marshall's the best because you don't have to worry about him.
He stays right with you.
Oh yeah, he always comes and checks on you too.
Oh,
He'll get ahead of you
back
and
and
then he'll come
forth.
back. Everything good, Dad?
Yeah.
He's the best. He's the
Yeah.
best with that.
He's amazing.
He's a fun dog, but not if you're a squirrel.
Yeah.
Not if you're a squirrel.
Or a
He's
turtle.
death. He's beautiful death. He's beautiful. Imagine being a squirrel and being killed by the most lovely looking creature you could imagine.
I think here's why I was nervous coming on, because that reminded me of Theo Vaughn said something about like Suzanne Summers. That got
What
you
about
guys.
Suzanne Summers?
I think like a golden retriever running like with flowing hair.
Oh,
Wasn't
right.
that?
Her hair was like that.
Yeah, so then
said
that
something like
that
that.
got,
Yeah.
that got you guys onto Thigh Master. But anyway, so yeah, like Marshall, Suzanne Summers running towards you is what I envisioned.
Yeah, but trying to eat you.
Yeah.
Out of your shell. Like, what the fuck?
But the point was, I'm pretty nervous because I'm like, I can't follow up Theo Vaughn, who.
Well, there's been a couple of people on since Theo, right? Yeah, so you're all right. Don't
but-
worry.
And then before that,
We had-
it was Jelly Roll. Who,
Yeah.
like I feel like this podcast, your platform is made for people like Jelly Roll because it's
But
like
you too. It's made for everybody.
no, but
I
like
don't
he's like
fucking know. That's why you're here.
he's like this incredible talent
Yeah.
that like everybody should know about,
Right.
but hasn't until lately.
Right.
And so to me, I'm like, this is why you created this thing, to have people that just have this immense ability and deserve to have a spotlight shown on them.
Yeah, but that's not why I created it. I created it just to do it.
I
'cause
know,
it was
but-
fun. But along the way, it
Yeah.
became that. But it also has to be everybody else that I want to talk to too.
All inclusive.
Yeah.
You're inclusive and diverse.
Everybody. It's like I don't. I know it's a platform, but I don't think of it like that. I just think of it as like, who do I want to talk to? You know.
I was thinking
And that
about
guy's awesome. Jelly Roll is awesome. He's a
Oh,
great
God.
story too. Fucked up as 15-year-old, gets arrested, all this time in prison, comes out and he's got the voice of an angel.
Oh, I mean, I'm addicted to his
And he's a great guy.
to his music
Oh, his music is amazing.
because it's real. It's
Yeah.
like you feel that soul or that not
Life experiences.
not tragedy, but it's like there's so much emotion in it.
Yeah, you can't fake that kind of authenticity. Like what that guy is authentic.
Yeah.
You know, that need a favor. I only talk to God when I need a favor.
Oh, so powerful.
Play some of that for me, Jamie. Play some of that for me, because this
So
motherfucker
powerful.
can sing.
Yeah,
And when they discovered him, like when you see that guy with the tattoos on his face and he looks like a thug. God damn.
unbelievable.
Listen to this.
And I only pray when I ain't got a prayer. So who the hell am I? Who the hell am I to expect a savior? Oh, if I only talk to God when I need a favor. But God, I need a favor. I know amazing grace, but I ain't been living them words. Swear I spend more Sundays drunk off my ass than I have in church. Hardcover King James, only been saving dust on the nightstand. And I don't know what to say by the time I fold my hands. I only talk to God when I need a favor. And I only pray when I ain't got a prayer. So who the hell am I? Who the hell am I to expect a savior? Oh, if I only talk to God when I need a favor. God, I need a favor.
God damn, that guy's good.
I mean, to me,
Woo.
the reason that song,
Goosebumps.
I think most people can relate to that.
Well, it's
also,
his voice too. That's real.
You got the
pain
raspy-
in his voice. It's like that's a real dude. Like there's some people that just have a real voice. When they sing, you just go like, God damn it.
yeah, there's just no denying
Yeah.
that talent,
No.
that the storytelling. It's like a storytelling attribute, the voice itself.
Yes.
And then how he delivers it. And then on top of it is the lyrics.
Yeah.
So you put that all together and you get something magic like Jelly Roll. And like I think a lot of people can identify, like nobody's praying when things are going great, or not
Right.
nobody, but
Right.
most people don't.
Right.
They're like, if God, please just give me another chance when something fucks up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not when it's going great.
Always. When you're injured, you always appreciate being healthy.
Healthy.
When you're sick, you always appreciate being healthy.
And it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I took it for granted. God, I'll never take it for granted again. I've done this.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's why that song is so powerful to me, because that's me.
Yeah. It's everybody. It's every human being. It's human nature. It's just, but that kind of guy, man, you got to cherish those kind of people. It's a rare diamond that's created by that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
It makes that kind of a person.
It was months ago. I kept watching his video. There's one he had. It's called "Son of a Sinner," but then he had another one. Now, for some reason, I can't even remember what it is. But I watched the video so many times, and I'm like, this guy is amazing. It was before "Need a Favor." It was
Save Me. Probably.
"Save Me."
Yeah.
I watched this video so many. Have you seen this video?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Save
Yeah.
Me.
It's incredible.
Same thing.
Yeah, it's
And
incredible.
it's just, I was like, this guy is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he's a freak talent.
Yeah,
And,
look
you
at
know,
this.
And this dude was, dude was in jail, you know?
I mean, I can see pain in his eyes.
This is what made him, right? This
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, I think so. That definitely
I think
blew
this
up.
video, too.
I mean, can't you see pain in his eyes?
Yeah.
Somebody save me from myself. I spent so long living in hell. They say my lifestyle is bad for my health. It's the only thing that seems to help. All of this drinking and smoking is hopeless, but feel like it's all that I need. Something inside of me's broken. I hold on to anything that sets me free. I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Life has shattered my hopes and my dreams. I'm a lost cause. Baby, don't waste your time on me. I'm so damaged beyond repair. Life has shattered my hopes and my dreams.
Damn. Whew.
So does everybody put themselves in that story?
Yeah, I think everybody does. I think that's the beautiful thing about a great songwriter and a great singer. There's something about someone who writes their own songs too. There's something about when you're trusting them with your thoughts. It's like you're riding along on the song, on the lyrics, on the music, and you're thinking with them. They're taking you on it. Like, I think when you watch something that's very entertaining, one of the things that happens is you give in to it, where you're letting it create experiences. You're letting it interact with your mind. And I think someone that has like a song that has just that real pain that's coming through it, there's something about the way that interacts with your mind. It's like this weird communal thing that happens to people that are listening to it. That's why people love to go to a concert and everyone sing along to the same song together.
Right.
People love doing that. They love doing that. Music is magic.
Well,
it's magic stuff.
To me, when I think of that, I think of church. When I think of those experiences like you just said, because in church, that's kind of the magic of church. You sing the hymns.
Did you ever see the video of a Biden in the black church?
Oh my God! Okay, except for him, yeah.
Did you ever see it?
He wasn't really in that moment, was he? He was in his own moment.
It was amazing.
I mean, I think he had it was
amazing.
a shitty diaper moment.
He didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do.
And supposedly he grew up in a black church.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
in the 1800s. It was he actually helped the Mongols conquer China. Like, he's fucking what is he talking about?
I don't
Grew up in a black church.
Yeah, I mean,
watch him dance. It's amazing. I mean, maybe he had a bad back that day. But he's not even moving his fingers. I mean, that's kind of crazy.
I mean, how can you not feel that music?
It's kind of crazy.
It is.
Are presidents allowed to fucking get into it? Obama would.
I would love
Obama would have 100%. Obama would have had a great
definitely.
time and everybody would have enjoyed it.
You see Obama.
Trump would have tried. He would have did a little clapping.
Obama
He
would
would've did a little something.
He could fit in with whoever he was around. Like if he met athletes, he'd be like, like the half hug shit.
Yes.
It's like an athlete would to another athlete.
Yeah.
The bro hug. He would definitely be in there.
What do you got? We got a Trump one?
I was just looking around to see.
Is there Trump at a black church?
There is a
There must be Trump at a
Okay.
black church. Let me see him dancing around.
You can see him here. Hold on. Oh, he's talking.
Is there any of him dancing?
There was a time. The screenshot shows more than that is. He's about.
Oh,
There
we
he
go.
goes. He's moving a little
Okay.
bit. Look at that. He's grooving. Look at him go.
That's Michelle Obama right there, isn't it?
No, that's not Michelle.
looks kinda
Obama.
like her.
It does look a little like her.
Is that Omarosa?
It might be Omarosa. That's who it
Oh,
is.
that's who it is.
That's who it is.
I knew I recognized. Yeah.
Oh, you knew you recognized her.
Yeah.
Oh, Omarosa was on Fear Factor.
No.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I don't remember. I think she did okay. But I was like, this is an ambitious lady.
Yeah. She had goals.
A lot of horsepower behind those thoughts.
A lot of goals. Yeah.
A lot of fucking,
Didn't they?
a lot of belief in herself.
That turned into like a.
Yeah, there she is. Bam.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah. Look at you.
Cargo pants.
Jeez, dude, the cargo pants.
This is looking slick, right? I like that look.
I look like that.
I have never in my life had good fashion. Never.
Oh, those cargo pants were dominating
I've always
that
been
picture.
a mess. I've always been a mess.
But yeah, what I was gonna say was, like I listened to me, and I don't know if because maybe I'm tortured in some weird way, but I put myself and I'm like, maybe I can identify with this. I feel like a lost cause most, or especially when I was growing up, felt like a lost cause. So is that what people do? They put themselves in that.
And you think about like what it would be like to be that person too, because I think we all do that. Like we wish we were that person who's like the movie star that's like being the hero in the movie. We put ourselves like when the movie star wins, like we kind of win. That's kind of what goes. So when you hear a song, even though you know it's not about you, like, okay, like Bad Company. Remember that song, Shooting Star?
Yeah, I love that song.
Love that song. When I was a kid in high school, everybody thought they were that guy. That they listened to that song, and even if they didn't fucking play in a band, for somewhere in their head,
Oh, listen to this.
this is a song. When you're a kid and you listen to this, you're like, holy shit. Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. Love me too, I think it was. From there it didn't take him long. Got himself a guitar, used to play every night. And now he's in a rock and roll outfit and everything's alright. Don't you know? Every kid wants to be this guy. Mama, hey,
That was-
mama, I'm going away.
Love that song too.
Fuck yeah.
But we were the same age.
I'm going to be a big star. Yeah, but I'm 3 months older than you. Trust me. I know things. With a teardrop in her eye. Johnny said, don't cry, mama. Just smile and wave goodbye. I mean, all of it. It's just like... Don't you know that you are a shooting star? And all the world will love you just as long as you are.
Yeah, but it doesn't it take
It
a
ends
turn?
bad. Yeah,
Takes a
this-
turn.
This is the part I like.
No, because he proved everybody wrong. He got to number
But he
one.
didn't. He didn't prove anybody wrong. That's the problem with the story.
But he got to number one.
But no, he didn't have to prove anybody wrong because he was a kid.
Yeah.
He was just a wizard.
Right.
Johnny's just a wizard who got instant pussy and hot rods.
Yeah.
The whole story makes no sense. He's leaving his mom's house to be a fucking superstar? Give me some volume. I made the big time at last.
Let's see the lyrics again.
This story makes no sense. That's why it's great for the 1980s when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Nobody knew what the fuck was going on.
He dies, right?
Yes, he dies. This is where it goes sad. Shooting star, yeah. But all the world will love you just as long as you are. Now, me, as being a person that's always worried about danger and like fucking things up, I'm always worried about that. My favorite part is the end. My favorite part of this song is the end.
What do you mean you were worried about danger?
I'm always, like, ever since I was a kid, I was, like, concerned with things that are dangerous. Like, don't get stupid. Like, don't go to that party. Don't do this. Like, always, like, hey, this is all gonna go sideways, kids.
Really?
People are nuts. Yeah.
This song is 10 minutes long.
Yeah, bro.
I know.
That's what they did back then.
Takes
Because
up
they
all the
told
vinyl.
stories,
They
son.
did.
They told stories.
How many
No.
tapes did you need for that?
I know, but you listen to Borderline Madonna. That's
Yeah.
like 2 fucking songs.
Yeah.
It's now songs are 2 minutes.
This is the best part right here. Johnny died one night, died in his bed. Bottle of whiskey, sleeping tablets by his head. Johnny's life passed him by like a warm summer day. If you listen to the wind, you can still hear him play. So for every young kid that I grew up with, the romantic notion of dying young as a rock star that everyone's gonna miss for some stupid reason.
That's awesome.
That was what everybody wanted.
That's
everybody
Jim
wanted
Morrison.
to be Jim Morrison. Everybody wanted to be Jim Morrison
Mac
when I was in high
Miller.
school. Yeah.
All the geniuses die early.
Well, they all died at 27.
Yeah,
Hendrix,
27.
Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison, Kurt Cobain,
What's that? She's got
Amy
dark.
Winehouse.
Yes,
Same age.
I know. Isn't that
Nuts.
Yeah.
Isn't she was 27 as well, right?
think so, yeah.
That's nuts.
So, but I mentioned Madonna's long song. That
Yeah.
reminded me of another thought. Could you ever see a time when Madonna was so hot, like she was,
Right.
to where Roseanne Barr would be hotter than her, like right now? Roseanne Barr is way hotter than Madonna. I mean, if you'd have looked back in the day, Madonna, sex symbol, incredible, and Roseanne, and now,
Right.
right?
Well, I think,
Because I thought, wasn't Roseanne at your club?
yeah, she looked wonderful.
Isn't she? She looks good.
lovely. She looks healthy. She's happy.
She looks
she's lost a
great.
bunch of weight. Yeah, she's doing stand-up.
Yes.
She's loving it.
Yeah, look at that. No, right.
Something's going on with Madonna. If that picture is accurate.
No, that is.
Like what that is like the same thing that leads to anorexia, the same thing that leads to bodybuilders that get just so
Right.
massive. They don't think
Dysmorphia.
they're big. Yeah, it's dysmorphia.
Yeah,
It happens to, I think there's a certain percentage of people that get those fillers in their face that it happens to. You start like fucking with the shape of your face. And it looks crazy. It looks crazy.
I'm not a fan of the lip things where all the girls' lips look the same now.
Yeah.
I know what the goal is because full lips was always kind of a cool thing, I guess. But now they all look the same.
But it doesn't match your nose. So
Mm-hmm.
my brain is all thrown off. I'm like, what's going on? Because, that's a thing with like facial symmetry. That's why you can tell when someone's had a nose job. It like weirds you out. Like, what's going on with your face?
Right.
Like everything seems, it just seems things can seem a little off when you start like making your lips bigger than everything else. It just doesn't look right. Like your mind is going like, what's missing here? Something's missing here.
Yeah. I'm almost like, so that's,
Like if you have a
I'll be
thick
honest.
face, if you
Yeah.
have like thick skin, you have like Italian lips and and an Italian nose and big thick lips, it looks like it belongs in your face.
yeah.
But if you have like real thin skin and a narrow nose and this,
Yeah. Well, I think things changed too because it used to be like tit jobs were cool. Now I almost think natural tits are better.
interesting.
This kind of a
Interesting.
taken aside.
Good for you.
Jamie, what do you
I
think?
like what you did there.
It depends.
Well, I support people's right to do whatever the fuck they want. If they want to get boob jobs, get a boob job. I do think, however, people, I don't necessarily think it's 100% healthy for your body to have something in your body like that. Mm-hmm. And I think there have been some people that have had some real issues with having to
Leaking.
get them out. Well, it's like affects their health. I believe Kat Zingano's talked about this, because she got hers taken out. She was having real problems with them.
I worry about fighters like taking a fucking kick right to the tit and having a pop.
I think these tits are fucking bionic now.
Probably.
I think they get combat tits.
But I was thinking,
It's like one of them
if you're-
laptops that's in a suitcase. Those kind of tits they
oh,
get.
the rugged? Yeah.
The Panasonics.
The
The
rugged.
ones that the military has.
Yeah,
It's got
the
a fucking latch. You go
rugged
lift it up.
tits?
Yeah. That's
Well,
what they get. Robo tits.
If girls, you already got to cut weight.
Yeah.
How much are you adding on? Now you
Right.
got to cut more weight.
Yeah.
for those fucking
you
tits.
probably are adding several ounces.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they're made out of. I think they make them out. I don't think they make them out of saline anymore. I think it's like a mushy thing that doesn't break. Because when they originally had them, some people, like silicone ones, people were they were leaking. Every 100 cc of silicone
so
breast implant.
1.3 pounds.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, that's, that last pound for those fighters.
Half a pound. That's crazy. So atypical, a pair will weigh 1.38 pounds. 1.38
That's a
pounds
lot.
is a lot of weight to lose.
To cut when that's the
When
worst
you're
one.
dehydrating yourself. Yeah. That means you're going to lose something else. Like your well, it depends on, maybe you're cutting the weight easy. It depends on the person, I guess, because some people are cutting the weight easy.
Really?
Yeah,
It
some
seemed-
people. Yeah, some people are being, there's people that cut a shitload of weight, but some people are being pretty smart about it. They really get down to about 5 pounds. What does Colby cut? He doesn't cut much.
No, he's probably 85 down to
See, he's one of the
170.
best at that. I think 85 to 70 is really good because that's not that hard. For an athlete like that with all
Right.
that muscle, you could dry that out pretty easy. But when the fucking Alex Pajeda guys, when you're talking about weighing in at 185 and then walking around at 230 or 220, Colby Covington claims he lost over 1 stone in just a day to be backup for UFC 286 opponent, but didn't even fight.
Yeah.
So 1 stone is 13 pounds.
18 pounds.
1 stone is 18?
What this says.
Oh.
Well, it's over 1 stone, so
Oh, over 1
he
stone.
lost 18 pounds.
18 pounds in a day.
He's a company man.
Yeah.
He did
Well,
that.
he's right there. You know, it's him, and you got Bilal Muhammad. You know, you've got a lot. Hamzat, at 170, he's the motherfucker, right? But it's like, can you be assured that he's going to make 170?
Yeah.
Or here's another possibility. Did the athletic commission fuck him? Did they pull him out when he could have made it because they decided he looked bad? And he's like, yeah, I look bad.
That
but
time
I
when he
always look
missed
bad.
weight by 9 pounds?
Exactly.
Yeah.
8 pounds. Yeah.
Right.
But that was New York.
Right.
And they have done things in the past that show to me that they're a little more stringent on their enforcing of certain rules, and you know they'll stop fights when maybe another commission wouldn't. They won't allow fights to happen if other commissions would. You know, like they're very cautious. So maybe that had something to do with it. You know, that they pulled him because they did make the decision to tell him to stop cutting weight.
He's big.
He's fucking huge.
I remember we saw him backstage in Florida, I think, and he just looked giant.
But the thing is, 85. Now you go from That's
a big gap.
right, but I want you to think about it this way.
Okay.
Think about Colby, the size of Colby, and then I want you to think that if the next one up from Colby is Alex Pereira.
That's a big man.
So when you're talking about Hamzat, if Hamzat and Colby fight, that's a fascinating fight.
Yeah.
But if Hamzat fights someone like Paulo Costa,
Right.
now you're dealing with a totally different size
Right.
human.
Different
Or
human.
Yoel Romero.
Right.
It's a totally different size human.
So yeah, Colby.
So as big as Hamzat is, like
Right.
if he can make that 170, and I don't know that he couldn't have made it. You know, the thing is, like, if they can say you look too sick, you look like shit, but everybody looks like that if they check in on you. If you're going to cut a big weight cut, but if they know how to do it, they do it. And I don't think he missed weight any other time. Google that. Find out if that's correct, because I do not believe he missed weight. I know he fought Gerald Mearshart at 185 pounds, and he knocked him out in 1 round. He fought Kevin Holland at a catch weight of 180, and the other fights, I believe he made 170. Maybe he had one other fight, 185. I think maybe it was his first fight in the UFC. Might have been 185. But
what? Oh, he fought that. Who was that? Remember, he was talking to Dana.
yes.
What weight was that?
That was 170.
Okay.
That was the Leech
Right.
Leong. Yeah,
Right.
that was wild.
That
I mean, you want
was.
to talk about like levels above when someone can carry you over to the boss
Yeah.
and then fuck you up, talking shit. I kill everyone.
Yeah.
I kill everyone.
That.
But you're not going to do that to Paulo Costa. That's
No.
my point.
Right.
Like you're talking about a totally different size human
Right,
being.
I get it. Yeah.
Totally different thing. It's like that gap is too big, in my opinion. I think there's 10 pounds. I
Yeah.
think it should be 75, 85,
Yeah.
all the way up.
Well, 65,
yeah.
75, 85.
Yeah, 55, 65,
Yeah.
75. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
And if you did that, I think you'd have like more reasonable choices that guys would make in terms of cutting weight or in terms of, you know, going up. But ultimately, I really strongly believe that for the health of the fighters and just for the just to really solidify what the sport has the potential to be, people should fight at their actual weight.
Yeah.
Their actual weight.
That's what I was going to say. So if Hamzat can cut all the way down and Colby's more natural, is there an advantage?
There's definitely an advantage, but there's not an
wait,
advantage
no-
in terms of endurance.
Performance, I'm saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a bigger man, but can you perform?
Well, it's questionable, right? Because we've never seen him fade. He's got incredible endurance because he fought that fight with Gilbert, and
3 rounds.
yeah, but it was a fucking war.
It was.
That was a wild slobber knocker
He
of
got
a
hurt.
war.
He got hurt.
He did.
But-
Gilbert is a fucking savage,
I know.
though.
I was disappointed. You know, he took that short notice fight, the last one.
We fucked up his shoulder.
And he got hurt.
Yeah, he fucked up his
so it's
shoulder
like
early in the fight.
He's such a dog. He wants
Yeah.
to compete. I felt
I almost feel like they should have
felt
stopped
bad.
the fight. I think when a fighter literally can't use his arm like that, and you're fighting a guy who's as dangerous as Bilal, like you're gonna take shots you shouldn't take. You're gonna, you run the real risk
Yeah.
of getting extra hurt,
Right.
and you could hurt that arm even further to the point where it's not repairable through surgery. Like you gotta, I think at a certain point in time, if you literally can't use your arm to
Yeah.
throw punches, you probably shouldn't be fighting. And it's
Yeah,
a hard pill
that
to
was
swallow,
hard to watch.
But you're probably going to lose anyway because he was so diminished.
It was hard to watch.
It was hard for him to move. You could see like his movement was compromised too. Whatever was fucked up with his shoulder, he couldn't do anything with that left arm.
Yeah.
And hopefully he gets surgery on, or whatever, rehabs it or gets stem cells and fixes it. But, you know, it's that weird thing where maybe he could still win. Maybe he could land the head kick. Maybe he could take him down and get him in a triangle or something like that. You never know. But when it's that bad of an injury, it's not a bad thing to call it.
I think he landed, like late in that fight, he landed a pretty good shot, if I remember right.
He probably's like in agony while he's doing something
Probably.
like that, you know?
What's your prediction on Leon Colby?
That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Leon is so goddamn
You want me to tell you what's
dangerous
gonna
on the
happen?
feet. Tell me.
Colby.
Yeah, well, you're his friend. Listen, Leon's so dangerous.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kamaru couldn't take him down in the last fight, that was a big deal.
Yeah, but okay, so how about this? So Kamaru gets KO'd. Mm-hmm. That obviously gives Leon confidence, but
For sure.
also, no matter who wants to admit it, that has to affect the confidence of Kamaru.
He's a human being. He's
Right,
a human being.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, that is such a crazy I mean, that one moment, the fight was pretty much over. That one shot changed the trajectory of everything.
Yep. And it changed the way Kamaru fought in the second
Yeah.
fight. He was a little bit more cautious.
And Leon was at home. He had more confidence.
Yep.
He was like, I don't know. I just was thinking that one kick, changes everything.
Well, that's a guy like Leon. Like, you can never, that was the 5th round that he landed that.
Wasn't it late?
It was late in the 5th round. I believe there was only like a minute left to go in the fight or something crazy like that. But the thing about Leon is you can never sleep. He's so sharp. His striking, like, he's one of the most impressive guys I've ever seen hit the pads.
Yeah, but the pressure of Colby, come on now.
Yeah. No, it's incredible pressure. But
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens.
Because
Also,
Leon,
the cardio of Colby's off the charts.
Leon did do better than I thought he would at combating the wrestling, the takedowns. So he has improved there.
Yeah.
So we'll see how Colby can mix that up compared to Kamaru. Because Kamaru is good at that also.
Yes.
But does he have more to offer in terms of pressure and cardio?
Well, Colby puts a lot of volume on you. He comes at you like fast.
He'll wade in.
Yeah,
He'll take a shot to
wades
get
right
in.
Yeah, he wades right in, and he puts you in a dogfight. And when you're in a dogfight, he's more likely to get a takedown. You know, it's very smart. And also, he's pushing you at a very extreme pace right away. He's letting you know right away from the beginning of the fight, I'm coming after you, and it gets. He has some wild fucking fights because of that. You know, like the kind of heat that he puts on people.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I mean, I want that belt back to Oregon so bad.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not near as bad as Colby does, but yeah, he texted the other day and said he's going to come and train next month. So getting ready for that fight.
It would have been interesting if Jorge Masvidal, when he fought Gilbert, which was Gilbert's fight before that, if he didn't take that fight, I wonder if they would have given him a title shot if Leon can beat Colby. Because that was the one fight when they had that backstage fight.
The 3-piece in a soda.
Yeah.
I know. That had the storyline. And that's,
That had a good storyline.
Jorge was angling for that, for the payday,
Yeah.
obviously. And it just didn't make sense because Jorge had lost.
Well, Jorge's he's kind of openly said that he just doesn't feel as good.
The fire.
He doesn't have it in. He's still a very capable world-class fighter. But he doesn't feel like he's at his best. You know, he's what, 37 or something like that?
Yeah, I know.
I think he's 30. Is he 38? How old is
I know. He's
Jorge
been,
Masvidal?
since the fucking
I love that dude.
backyard, dude. I mean,
He's been doing it forever.
the biggest OG ever?
38. Yeah. If you're a natural athlete, that's kind of the end of the line in combat sports. It gets close if you're a natural athlete.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like it's so hard. Except guys like Yoel. You know, you have these guys that are just freaks that you don't
Right.
understand. They're just whatever freak of genetics and nature, and you know, obviously trains hard too. But it's like there's some guys that can be really. I mean, he's elite. Yoel is like what, 44, 45, and now he's in Bellator.
Yeah.
He's elite. He's still elite.
I
Like
think he
everyone's
just
scared of
won-
him.
His last fight, he won, I believe.
I'm sure he won.
46.
46.
46. God.
46 years old and fucking ragdolling people and still built like a Greek god.
I love I love training with the fighters just because I'm a big fan, obviously, but that their mentality is like my goal to train with people is.
Look at him.
I know.
Sculpted.
Is this his last fight?
Yeah, this is his last fight. We fought Melvin Manhoef. Oh, interesting. Wow. Melvin is
he's old too.
Fucking, oh my God. We were just watching highlights of him the other day. Melvin is quite a bit smaller.
Yeah, but he's been. How old is he, Jamie?
Oh,
Melvin?
Melvin in fight years is fairly old. I mean, in terms of miles,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of
God,
miles
I
on
bet.
him. Imagine having Yoel on top of you like this,
it'd be
just
miserable.
crushing your fucking neck.
Miserable.
He's so good at wrestling.
Look at these elbows.
Like, people don't understand how good Yoel is.
Yeah.
I mean, he was.
They see him stand up all the time. He likes to stand, it seems like.
Oh, he likes it because it doesn't take as much energy, and he's so fast. I mean, that the knee that he knocked out Chris Weidman with, holy fucking shit, that was scary.
Yeah.
He's so good, dude, and he's so dangerously strong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I know we've heard that a million times about how the doctor's saying he's like his bones are.
The doctor said his tendons in his eyes were 3 times larger than normal humans.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? He's just look at this. He smashed him.
God, that looks terrible.
Oh my!
I feel bad.
Yeah.
Oh my!
Yeah, not good. Yeah, and for Melvin has been knocked out a lot. There's a lot of videos. Joe Schilling knocked him out. There's a crazy video of Robbie Lawler knocking him out in Strikeforce. The Robbie Lawler one's amazing because Robbie is getting fucked up in that fight. Look at this! Boom, boom! He's out, and he gets him in the neck and then gets him with another one.
Yeah. So
Yoel Romero. But see, pull up Robbie Lawler versus Melvin Manhoef. So this was when Melvin was in his prime.
Oh, he
Everyone
used to be
was
a monster.
terrified of him.
A monster.
He was one of the best kickboxers to ever fight in MMA and one of the most explosive kickboxers of all time. I mean, he was so good and so dangerous. And this is after he had already fought in Pride. This is after, he had some crazy fights overseas in Japan.
Oh.
So he's teeing off on Robbie.
Mm-hmm. Those body shots must be terrible. Ooh.
Look at this. Look how hard he's getting kicked in his legs,
know.
man. I mean, he's just getting lit up.
Yeah.
So it looks terrible for him, right?
It does, yeah.
Because you're thinking, my God, Robbie, this is one of the best strikers in the world, and he's chewing your legs up. I mean, every time he's kicking his leg, it's like, holy fuck. It's like he's doing the splits.
Oh, God, that hurt.
But look at this.
That was it, that right hand.
Look at that.
Oh, look at his eyes.
Yeah. Look at that.
Oh, my God, that looks terrible.
That's the Shadow Realm.
That looks terrible.
Look at
What
this.
was this? A right
hand.
Oh, right on the chin. God. Yeah, Robbie.
Bro, look at
Robbie's
that.
right hand.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
That's one of the greatest come from behind knockouts of all time.
Yeah.
Can't walk.
I know.
Oh my
he's
God!
like
Of course,
limping.
his legs got destroyed.
And
If you
because-
could even imagine how hard that guy can kick.
Yeah, that's the leg kicks these days are just ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean it's so effective.
Yeah.
You compromise all your movement. It's so painful.
So much respect for the fighters because they can't show
Yeah,
pain.
They got to walk it off.
I mean, they're poker face, and how bad that must hurt, and they're just like nothing.
Nothing.
So
Yeah.
impressive.
The most impressive display of that I ever saw was Eric Anders versus Khalil Roundtree. Khalil Roundtree was just smashing his
when he
legs.
went and trained with Muay Thai, right?
Yeah, he
And-
went over to Thailand.
Yeah,
for a
he had
long-
his that front leg was like real light.
Yeah, Thai
and
style.
Just oh my God, that was brutal.
Yeah, but Roundtree came back like a different person.
Yeah,
It was wild to see
Right.
because he was always a good striker. He was
Yeah.
a tough guy.
and explosive.
Yeah, but he came back like, oh my God, his kicks. Like, what the fuck, man? Me and DC, how many fights have we commentated together? I don't know. Fucking
lot.
A shit pile. It's rarely that we're looking at each other going, wow. Like, what the hell, man? Like, what changed in this guy?
Yeah.
This is just him practicing.
I've always been a fan.
You really want to see him in that fight.
Always been a fan of Khalil.
See if you can find Khalil versus Eric Anders.
I remember. Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah. It was a crazy fight, man. It showed you how fucking tough Anders is. He's so tough.
But these
because
kicks.
Khalil is just lighting him up, and he's moving so well.
That must be so frustrating because they don't want to switch stances, but if their leg is getting brutalized, they got to switch.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good options.
No. And then their
if
power's
you're not
gone.
an elite world-class wrestler, like you don't think you could take this guy down,
Mm-hmm.
and you got to try to commit, and as you commit, you're running into a buzzsaw because he's such a good counter-striker too. And obviously, coming into this fight, like everybody watched this fight and said, oh my God, he's on another level.
Yeah.
And occasionally you see that from fighters. Like Charles Oliveira is a great example of that. Something happened in his career.
Yeah.
It snapped, and then all of a sudden he was on another level.
Right.
And when most people watched Khalil before, everyone knew he was very good.
Mm-hmm.
But you watch him after this, you're like, well, this guy's like, this is world class.
Yeah.
This is like top of the food chain striking. And if he can keep getting better the way he got better for this fight, that's like world championship caliber fighting.
The inside of that quad there on
Yeah.
his right leg, or both, inside and out, looks like.
I think for Khalil and a lot of these guys, it's very hard to maintain the kind of focus that requires you to fight at this elite level every time.
What hurts worse, in or out?
They both suck.
God.
They both suck. They both suck. The calf, I've never been kicked in the calf, but everybody that I know that has says it's the worst. Michael Bisping went his entire UFC career, won the world title, never got kicked in the calf.
Lucky for him, that wasn't a thing, because that was
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
That's how
it wasn't
recent it became like one of the most dangerous
even,
weapons
now
in the
it's
sport.
like the fight hinges almost on how many calf kicks can you land before whatever.
When you watch the second Pereira Adesanya fight in the UFC, the second one, he was getting to his calf again. And Israel,
just recently.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
Israel's
know.
like, God damn it,
I know
he's
it.
getting me again.
Yeah.
Like, he's so good at hiding it.
Yeah,
He's better than anybody I've
and
ever
he
seen.
knew it was coming.
Yes.
He knew from the first time.
But he was better at it this time.
Yeah.
Pereira doesn't switch the hips. He stands like this. He's got this like weird way of standing where he's almost kind of square to you, and when he kicks, he just throws the leg.
Yeah.
So the shoulders don't swing.
Oh.
There's none of this stuff. It's just thump, thump.
So
But the
even
thing
if you
is,
know it's coming,
it's not as hard as he can hit you, but it doesn't
Right.
matter. It's as quick as he can hit you and as sneakily as he can hit you.
Right.
And he's hitting that same spot again and again and again. And if your daughter hits you there, it sucks.
yeah.
I had to stop letting my 13-year-old thigh kick me
It's hurting.
because it started to hurt. So it's really hurting. And that was like the
Yeah.
fun thing for them, that they could full power Muay Thai me in the legs.
Does she
And I was like,
kick
okay.
as hard as Roundtree?
Dude, I wouldn't be walking. I can't take one of those.
I know.
Those are horrible,
What I did like to see was
especially a full blast one.
with Stylebender was, they showed after he knocked him out, they showed his training where he was mimicking that same exact
Yes.
shot.
Yes.
In
Yeah.
that same position where
Same
he's on
rope-a-dope.
on
Yeah.
the cage, rope-a-dope, and then explode out is like
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, he knew that Pereira opens up when
Right.
he thinks he's got you hurt.
Kind of drops his hands a
Yeah.
little bit.
Well, he fights with his hands down. It's a
Right.
very unusual style, but it's also very, very effective. Oh, this is it. Let's see here.
yeah.
Oh yeah, look at it right there. That's it right there. Oh my God.
Yeah, this one for sure right here. See, he let himself get hit with the right. Yeah. Because even in that training, he let himself get hit with that right.
Yeah. Well, he takes a great shot. I mean, he got knocked out by Pereira in the kickboxing match. But goddamn, if that guy hits you that hard in that, it was like the worlds were colliding as he landed
Yeah.
that left hook. Like sometimes you land a shot and the guy's moving in
Right.
the direction of it.
He takes it a little bit.
Like, have you ever had anybody hold pads for you and hit pads? Well, when they hold pads for you, they kind of meet your punch.
Oh, I see.
And it makes your punch seem harder.
Yeah, that makes
But
sense.
if you work with a guy who doesn't do that,
Right.
you have to actually hit it and you realize
Yeah.
the difference. Well,
Right.
that's the difference between you moving your face.
Right. If you're
So if-
coming into
yeah.
it, they're punching.
Boom!
Yeah.
It's crazy. And that can happen. It happens with guys all the time.
And you see the opposite too when they go with the punch and it looks like it's going to be hard, but they're okay because
Yes.
they rolled with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Kelvin Gastelum is very good at that. There's a lot of guys that are very good at like turning. Izzy's good at that. Izzy's really good at that. Just turning, like as the punch is hitting you, turning your head, going with it. Whitaker's good at that too. That's going to be an interesting fight. Whitaker is he's fighting.
Yeah, I saw
God damn
this.
it! Why am I brain freezing here?
I saw this.
It's a great fight. Oh, Drekas Duplessis.
Right.
That's a great fight. That's an interesting fight because apparently Drekas and Izzy don't like each other. Because
Something about real
Drekas is
African.
saying something about I'm the real African.
Yeah,
the UFC
I know,
like,
it's
okay,
so
bro,
weird.
might want to fucking tone that down.
So weird.
There's kind of a history a part of it.
I know. I can't get on board with that.
It's stupid, but it's also gets attention.
Yeah,
and it gets the guy mad
course.
at you, and then the guy wants to fuck you
Yeah,
up.
get them
Yeah.
rattled. No, I get it.
But what makes it interesting to me, like in terms of like the choice of having Whitaker and Drekas Duplessis fight, is that Whitaker came really close to beating Izzy in that last fight.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a very close fight. The first fight, Izzy steamrolled him, right? Izzy catches him, knocks him out. Then all of a sudden, Whitaker just keeps getting better and better and better. And then gets a shot at the title again and has an amazing fight, like down to the wire. I believe it was a split decision. Is that correct? Find out if that was a split decision. But it was a very good fight.
I just like Rob's take on things. He's so articulate and well thought out.
He's an animal, too.
Yeah.
He's,
and
he's all the above.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite fighters
Yeah.
also, besides Stylebender.
Yeah.
But he's so good.
I almost like hate that they don't like each other because
know.
I love both of them.
They're so great.
It was the Stylebender Whitaker fight.
Yes.
Yeah.
KO.
They had two,
No,
though.
the second one.
They had two.
One. Yeah, the first one he knocked him out, and then the second
Decision,
one
unanimous.
unanimous
Oh, okay.
decision. Yeah, very good fight though.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is, it's like if they get to fight again, I'm in. I want to see that fight.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like why not just give him that fight? Like why making him fight Drekas? And if you are making him fight Drekas, if he beats Drekas, then Drekas has to build himself back up to get to a place where you get this big money fight with Izzy.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't it be smarter?
Unpopular
Wouldn't it be
opinion.
smarter?
I'm not a big fan of Drekas.
Oh, really?
I don't think he's near as good as at the top of the heap.
He admits fighting Robert Whitaker not the smart move. Explains why he accepted the UFC 290 fight. So why is he accepting it? What is he saying?
I think he's a notch below. I think those guys are just a little bit better.
A lot of people are saying it's not the smartest move to fight Whitaker, and 100% I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree. I like this dude.
Yeah, I choose to be a
agree it's not
warrior.
the smart move, but I'm not here to be smart. Otherwise, I would have stayed in school and finished my studies, gone to work at a bank, wear a suit to work every day, and do some corporate life. But that's not the life I chose. I chose to be a warrior, to be an entertainer, and at the end of the day, I'm a fighter, and that's what I do. I fight.
Okay. Well,
Wow.
I like that a little better.
I like that attitude.
Yeah, I like
know he
that.
talked a lot of shit, but, listen. People talk shit about people in other towns. If you actually lived in Africa
Yeah.
and some dude's in New Zealand,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, hey, I'm the real African.
One
Yeah.
more, just a couple more sentences to add. to
Okay.
that, but not,
Okay, I want to deserve my title shot. I don't want to be handed a title shot. I'm going to deserve that belt, and that's why I wanted that Whitaker fight.
All right. Okay.
Well-
I can respect that. I still like Whitaker better.
Well, I like both of them, but, that's a find out fight. We'll find out,
Yeah.
We'll find out because Whitaker is going to test that guy. Whitaker's a motherfucker, dude.
God, he is so good.
And he's another guy that he's a good move to 85, right? Because at 170, it was just too much. He was just cutting too much weight. And then at 185, becomes world champion.
One of my favorite things, and I don't know why, is watching fighter reactions to them watching fights. Like he has when Stylebender beat Alex, like they show Whitaker's reaction. And I just love that moment because they're in the same job,
Yeah.
same whatever, and so their reaction is so authentic. You
Right.
know, Connor watched Khabib. They had on
Did
there.
Robert Whitaker cheer when Israel won?
No, he's just pretty measured, but he's just like, I don't know. I don't know. It's like I just like it. I'm not really like Theo Vaughn watching people eat dinner like that, but
He was saying if he was on cocaine. But who do you think he would want to fight more?
who? Between who?
Robert Whitaker. Who would you want to fight more? Would you want to fight like if you were like him before the fight? Who would you be rooting for? I would imagine he'd be rooting for Adesanya because that's
Yeah.
the big money fight for him.
Yeah, and they're 1-1.
Yeah.
Or no, they're 2-0. Right.
Or-
So Stylebender beat him twice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so-
Or he might think that Stylebender had a good time in the first fight with Pereira on the ground. And
Yeah.
Whitaker's a very good wrestler.
Right.
Very good on the ground. Very
Yeah.
strong grappler.
I think he'd want Stylebender just because of that location. You know, they're both the same part of the world.
Mm-hmm. Well, it could be that, but it also could be, he thinks he's got a good shot at beating Pereira.
Yeah.
I mean, you
He
might
probably
want to look
does.
at it that way.
He probably does. I mean,
Because the other thing is, if he beat Izzy twice in a row, there wouldn't be a third match, so Whitaker would automatically kind of be a shoe-in for the next title shot. Wouldn't you imagine?
well, yeah, and don't you think that people are like the critics would say Alex hasn't taken on a good wrestler?
Oh,
right?
yeah,
because that's not
100%.
Stylebender's thing.
But that's
So-
Whitaker's thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not Whitaker's whole thing. Israel Adesanya confident Robert Whitaker beats Drecos Duplessis at UFC 290, opened a trilogy bout. Well, it will be a great fight because, Izzy just had his fucking number in that first one. That was like a prime Izzy performance.
I think a lot of these like wrestling strong fighters want Pereira.
Look what Izzy said. He said, I tried to do Drecos Duplessis in the fucking Death Star, the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Adesanya said, I tried. Maybe not International Fight Week because it was already booked, but I tried it later on. I was like, fuck it. Give him to me. It's already there. What's the point? Why wait?
Yeah,
Yeah, I like that attitude too.
I think he'd fuck him up.
Maybe, but wouldn't you want to watch?
Of course.
I want to watch. He's upset. I want if
I
Izzy
know.
is mad at
The bad
somebody
blood
and
is good.
Izzy's fired up,
Yeah.
I want to be there for that.
Yeah,
I want to see that.
I love it all.
I love it all. I want to see it.
That's what I was gonna say. My dream people to train with I did Chandler, but Colby's a tough. But I want the Wolf. I want the Wolf.
Hamzat?
Yeah,
I kill everyone.
yeah. I want him to come do lift, run, shoot, and
I want him to get a dietitian.
Well, and then I also want Connor because I want Connor to stop partying and fucking get serious.
Well, it's hard because why do you become famous in the first place? Why do you become successful in the first place? So you can live like a fucking baller.
Yeah, but
and that's
you can-
what Connor's doing.
but you can do
Did you
that
see he
shit when
pulled
you're
his
old.
Yacht up to the fucking Formula One.
Yeah,
So he's watching the Formula One while he's eating
I
breakfast
know.
off the back of his yacht.
It looks great, but
Fuck yeah, it does.
I mean, you got a shitload of money. You don't do that.
I'm a different person than Conor McGregor.
I know, but
I have different motivations.
he's in his. I'm not quite
Yeah.
in his prime, maybe a little older, but he's got so much talent, so much ability. You can party and be a fucking madman.
Or you could be jacked on your yacht, which is what you want.
Yeah, but when you're 40 and you got no other choice, do it then.
Well, but you can do it now, and that's what he wants to do. The problem
I
is,
fucking
it's like,
hate it though.
The problem is like,
I'm sick of seeing pictures of him partying.
yeah,
I'm sick of it. I want to see him in the gym.
I want him to do what he wants to do. And if Conor McGregor wants to fucking buy diamonds and lay around in the sun, I'm all there
I
for
want
it.
him to
The guy
come-
earned every fucking penny he got. I'm happy for him.
I'm happy.
I salute
Come
him.
carry that fucking rock up the
Yeah,
hill.
he'll do that.
I want him to.
That would be an awesome show.
Would.
Yeah, it'd be fun. Mm-hmm. You and him on Mount Pisgah.
Pisca.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that. You know what these are called. See that?
Oh, nice.
That's it. It's a GSPGH.
Oh, nice.
You didn't know that?
No, I didn't know that.
And then
Well, I just saw these in the flesh today for the first time. What's that?
that's me on the monument.
Ooh, you on that little thing that you hop on?
Yeah.
Nice.
That's sick, isn't it?
That is sick.
But
What's it like to have your own shoe? Well, you've had a bunch of own shoes.
No.
When you were with
well,
Under Armour, you did.
Yeah. But this one, I'm not saying I'm like Michael Jordan.
Actually, killed 2 elk wearing your shoes.
You did?
On 2 different occasions. I killed elk wearing those Under Armour Cam Hanes trail shoes.
Yeah, those I like those shoes too.
Well, they're great. They were great for bow hunting because you had a little bit of traction to them, and you could
Feel the
they're
ground.
real lightweight if you're sneaking up on stuff. So you can, as long as you're not like in real hazardous terrain, you can get away with like a good trail running shoe.
Oh yeah. No, for sure. If you don't need that ankle support.
What are you wearing now for your hunting boot?
Last year I wore Solomon.
Solomons
Yeah.
are great.
Yeah.
Those are great. Yeah.
And the Under Armour boots, I killed a lot wearing those.
Those
but
are real lightweight too.
yeah, it was like, I'm not working with them anymore. So I'm like, well, just try a bunch that's why I tried out a bunch of different running shoes also to try to make. Okay, I kind of had to use Under Armour, and they did what I wanted. They made the good shoe like that you killed bulls in. I ran a lot of miles in those. But then once I didn't renew with them, I'm like, well, let me just see what's out there and see what the best is. So I tried Solomon and boots, and then ran in about everything else, and ended up on these Speedlands.
And is Speedland a company that just specializes in running? Is it just running sneakers?
Yeah, it's just trail running.
Just trail running.
Yeah, just trail running.
Nice.
Yeah, so they.
My worry would be if you tried to hunt with those.
They're pretty bright.
The elk would look at you too and go, "Is there fucking blood in this motherfucker's shoes?" Is he? Like,
Yeah,
what
so-
was the decision to have blood splattered on it?
Well,
And is it the same splatter on every shoe, or is
yeah,
it different?
No, it's the same splatter.
That would be
It's
kind of cool if it was like different on every one.
my
It's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. I was just thinking that. Too much work.
my thought is blood to me is a symbol of sacrifice. Sometimes you got to bleed to achieve your goals. So that's what it means to me.
Oh.
And those guys, those are the owners of the company. It's an Oregon company. They both they've worked at Nike, Puma, Under Armour, and so Speedland is their brainchild. And then me being local, they're willing to work with me and do whatever I wanted. And you know, a lot of the running companies are pretty liberal. So me being a bow hunter,
Oh, yeah.
you know, even though I have influence in the running community, they're not willing to put themselves out there.
Bro, you need to make these in Origin camo.
So
go.
we're coming out with a winter version that's black.
Oh. What about Origin camo?
We could do that.
We need to get that.
We can do whatever.
That needs to be done. Don't you think? Then you could totally hunt with this.
Yeah.
Seems like it's got a good grip on the bottom.
Oh no, that's great. I mean that bottom is so I ran an ultra. My brother won it. I got second, but it was super muddy, and the traction on them is perfect because the mud doesn't stick to the sole, but it still gives you grip. So that's always there's a trade-off. You don't want the lug so close where it's holding the mud.
I started wearing these really light Crispies. I like them a lot. It's like heavier than that, but lighter than.
It's a trail runner?
No,
Or a
no,
boot? A boot.
hunting boot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
those a lot.
Yeah, those have a good reputation. I haven't tried those.
Super solid. Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's like, but having the proper footwear as a runner has to be like when you think about the amount of miles that you run. Like you run an insane amount of miles. Like on a regular week, what do you run when you're not prepping for like some ultra marathon?
I mean, I don't even track it, but it'd be for sure 100 miles a week.
That's a lot.
14 miles a day.
Yeah, that's
is
a
for
lot.
an average. But that's where that sole is. I mean, my
Got good
body,
cushioning.
because even though I'm much younger than you, I am old.
Damn.
But
that sucks for me. This has got a good cushion.
Yeah. So point is that my body doesn't take a beating with all the miles I put on.
Right. Gives you a little padding.
And then the boa, of course, the boa is nice because as your foot swells, sometimes in longer races, your foot swells. And so you can back those boas. The old ones used to have to release all the way. Those you can back like one click back.
Oh, okay.
And you don't start all the way back over. So if your foot gets a little tight because it's swelling, you can just go click, click. But
I like boas.
it's
just,
a
you
game
don't have
changer.
laces
Game
dangling around.
changer.
And those cords, I was always worried those cords are going to break.
Yeah, I've never had one.
I've never had one break either. I kind of stopped worrying about it after a while, but in the beginning, I'd crank them down, just waiting for it to pop.
Yeah.
You know, but
Testing it.
I just want to see.
Testing it like you did your back.
Yeah.
I think I felt that, but let me make sure.
Yeah, this is a good wake up call for me, though. Very good wake up call. I was getting a little too lackadaisical about my choices, and not. I don't think I warmed up enough, honestly, either, because I'm doing a lot of my workouts after the cold plunge. And I think what I should incorporate now is probably like a good bike ride, like a good assault bike ride to really fucking get a good sweat going before I do anything else. Because I just been going lightly, like doing bodyweight squats and push-ups and getting my body warmed up. And then I started doing a bunch of leg stuff, and then I did the deadlifts. And it's not a bad injury. Like I have full range of motion.
Yeah.
And I can buck it, but it's.
I mean, you're shooting the bow
yeah.
today and looked fine.
But my muscle in my back is just a little annoyed with
Yeah.
me. But that's where that fucking Hyper Ice hammer has been helping me.
Yeah.
This fucker.
Yep.
These things are game changers. This is the Hyper Volt Plus. These are game changers. That and CBD cream. I got some really good CBD MD recovery CBD cream.
What kind?
CBD
kind?
MD. It's called Recovery. It's one of their many different muscle balms that they have.
Right.
Have you ever used that stuff?
I use Santa Cruz medicinals.
Yeah.
And so it's like I had put it on today, just on my legs and on my arms, just because it's like when I'm tight from training, it just helps.
It alleviates inflammation somehow or another.
It helps. It feels
goes
good
through your pores.
And does that? I mean, even the smell, the aroma, I like.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. I like taking it too. It's nice when you take it. It like relieves anxiety. Like I was when I first started when CBDMD became a sponsor a long time ago. They sent me a bunch, and I started taking their gummies every day. And I was like, why do I feel so good? I was like, I feel like. And then I realized,
just CBD,
oh yeah,
not THC.
No, just CBD. And then I started taking the drops, and the drops, the oil, you can get it like really effectively into your system. You just drop it under your tongue, and it's I mean, I think results may vary.
Yeah.
But for me, it works great. I'm a big fan.
That's the thing. I try so much different stuff, and I don't really know what works specifically, but I know I feel good.
Dave Foley told me that it cured his arthritis in his hands. He had his hands, he said he couldn't straighten them out. He started taking CBD, and it just all went away. He goes, now I have full range of function in my hands, which is amazing.
That is.
That's amazing because usually that stuff goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
Arthritis is a scary one, man.
Yeah, I know. I know young people who have it.
There's a comic named Sean Rouse. It was hilarious comic, and he had horrible arthritis. It was horrible. He could barely move. It was really bad, and he drank a lot. Dude was fucking funny though. He was so funny.
That inflammation is a real. I mean, it makes everything worse.
Oh, it's horrible, and from the alcohol is just exacerbating the symptoms. But
carbs,
it's also
carbs, dude.
Carbs, yeah. A lot of people. That's Jordan Peterson's daughter, Michaela. She has really bad arthritis, and she got on the carnivore diet and basically like stopped in its tracks.
When I went, I did that kind of a keto thing. I was trying to get fueled up with just fat adapted, so no carbs, just all protein, fruits type thing. My joints. I've never felt better. I mean, I would come downstairs in the morning and I'm like, like a freaking 14-year-old, just like boop, 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 bouncing around. I hadn't felt that good and whatever, but it was the carbs that caused that inflammation.
I know it's crazy to think, but I think that's true. I've been doing the carnivore diet now, pretty disciplined, except last night I had a couple of corn chips because we were eating, my family got Mexican food, and I was just eating the steak, like some carne asada.
Yeah.
And there were some corn chips there, and I fucking cheated. I ate like 5 or 6 corn chips.
I won't tell.
But other than that, it's been mostly just meat and eggs. That's mostly been all of I've been eating. And I've had a few pieces of fruit along the way, but I feel great. I lost 5 pounds, 6 pounds, somewhere around then.
What are you, 195?
196 right now?
Yeah.
195, 196. I feel fucking great.
Yeah.
I feel great. Your energy levels. This is what fascinated me about it the first time I did it. I felt like my energy level was stable through the whole day, which it kind of never is. Like after a podcast, sometimes I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because you don't think about it as being difficult. But like, say if I'm talking to someone that's talking to me about like some really heavy shit, some quantum physics or something like that, Michio Kaku type dude. Like the whole time I'm just trying to keep up with this dude. It's like running up the mountain with you.
I could run a marathon way easier than I can sit and do a podcast. Like at my podcast, I'm like so stressed out from like, I gotta keep this conversation going. Okay, I'm listening to what they're saying, but I got to think of the next question I'm going to ask.
You'll eventually get to the point where you don't think about that. It's just a reps thing.
The
It's just like
worst-
shooting your bow.
The worst is the smart people like Chris Williamson.
Right. That dude's crazy smart.
Yeah, and I'm like, God, what am I going to... So I was exhausted after that one.
You never see that dude say,
He's like, his memory, he's like, oh, my
Incredible.
friend Alex Hormozy, or...
Yeah.
I mean, it just rattles off this quote and ties it in
Yeah.
perfectly. I'm like, God, I suck.
Fascinating guy, and one of the best guys to sort of emerge from this new group of people that are interviewing people and talking to people on YouTube. He's one of the best. One of my favorite.
I asked him, I said, so what exactly is an intellectual?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Because he was a club promoter.
I know.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just know if it was intellectual, it'd be the opposite of me, would be a good definition.
But like, I think classical education has its point. It has its merits and it has its place. But there's some people that have done some insane things by bypassing the normal system.
Right.
One of them is James Cameron. Do you know, I was reading this thing yesterday about James Cameron. Do you know that James Cameron didn't go to film school?
Mm-hmm.
James Cameron used to go to the library, and he would take people's dissertations and he would photocopy them, and he would just absorb all their information about filmmaking, all the interviews. He essentially said he got a doctorate's degree for like $1,200.
Yeah.
Of like photocopying things and studying things.
Well,
Which is kind of crazy because James Cameron is like, is he the highest selling producer
Yeah.
of all time?
might be. He's up there, Steven Spielberg.
But think
type.
about the Titanic, Avatar,
Yeah.
Aliens.
Right.
I mean, you how many fucking movies has that guy made that are just blockbusters? And to think that he learned how to do it. Find out if that's true.
He's number 2 right behind Spielberg.
Right.
Number 2 behind Spielberg.
And have you ever seen that? Tanner has a T-shirt and it says "Great Artist Steal."
Oh, that's interesting.
And so these guys, whatever he was influenced by, he'd go to the library, or he'd see things. The reason why I thought of that is when you were saying that, Brandon Shockey told me he watches. Who is the director? He's done some. God, I can't think of it right now. But anyway, he tries to mimic that style of who he's watched. And
Does the guy do film or does he do documentaries?
no, he's like a movie maker. But
Not Werner Herzog.
No, it was Brad Pitt's been in one of his movies. I know that.
Not Tarantino.
No. No.
Okay.
But anyway, point is,
You'll remember it in
Guy
an hour.
Ritchie?
who?
Guy Ritchie?
Yes, Guy Ritchie.
Oh, Guy Ritchie's the fucking man.
Guy Ritchie was one of Brandlin's biggest inspiration. He would sit in this little apartment and watch this, and then try to, when he was doing Jim Shockey Hunting Adventures things, he would try to mimic stuff like that. Then, like when he filmed, the grizzly hunt that we did, he just was like using all these different influences, and it was just mimicking the styles.
Yeah.
And it's like, so that reminds
That's a good guy to mimic.
Right. So, what does the classical schooling do when you can just watch this and try to mimic it, and then try to use your inspiration or influence
Yeah.
on whatever you're creating? Maybe that's a ticket.
Well, I think both of them are tickets, honestly. I think classical schooling teaches you all the technical details, all the stuff that you can learn it other places as well. But it puts you in a place where you're learning it and you're actually in a course.
Yeah.
And there's a real value for some people for that kind of structure. And I think not everybody's as motivated as James Cameron.
Right.
And sometimes people, they can't carve their own path. They can't figure out a way to make it. You got to find, you got to find places that, there's a light at the end of this tunnel. Like, to try to carve your own tunnel, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
that's too much work.
But you've been influenced by comics,
Oh, yeah,
right?
for sure.
So you've implemented that strategy a little bit. You'd see somebody you'd think was funny, you'd like their style, then you put your twist on it.
Well, what happens is, first of all, there's one thing that happens when you're around people that are really good, is that you have to bring your material up to their level.
Right.
Because iron really sharpens iron. And it's one of the things that I really like about this scene that we're developing here in Austin, is there's so many good comics here on a regular basis. On a regular basis, you're going to see Brian Simpson, Shane Gillis.
Best of
you're
the
going to
best.
see Tony Hinchcliffe. You're going to see fucking Mark Norman, Ari Shafir. You're going to see Joey Diaz. You're going to see these people that are coming through. That it's been fucking wild. But the young guys need that. And the young girls and the young non-binary people, they all need it. Everybody needs it. Everybody who's watching that needs that.
Yeah.
Because you need to know where these levels are at. Like, you very rarely will go to a small town in the middle of nowhere and the best comic in the world is there. I've never heard of that. I don't think it exists. I think you have to be around other killers.
Do you think that here's what I've noticed? Like, in small towns, there's always I'll just see if this analogy makes sense. There's always a stud in the small town that doesn't really want to be compared to the beasts in big towns. Like, so are there comics who really don't want to? They feel better like killing wherever they're at, and they don't really want to get thrown into against the best of the best.
Well, it's not that. It's that they don't want to travel, and if they don't have to, they because they're not going against them. See, one of the rare things about a setup like the Comedy
But
Store,
your game has to be elevated
Right.
Or it's going to be very noticeable.
But what I'm trying to say is, in the world of comedy, that really doesn't exist other than showcase clubs. So there's two kinds of clubs. There's the kind of clubs where you travel and you go on the road and you go there, like the Denver Comedy Works, one of the best clubs in the world, or Nashville's Zany's rather in Nashville, which is one of the best in the world.
That one in Salt Lake.
You Wise Guys in Salt Lake. It's the shit. So you'd go there, you do a weekend there, you do your stand-up, and then you go home. So you're the headliner, you bring a middle act, and you bring an opening act, or you use locals.
Right.
So there's basically two people on in front of you and then you, for the most part, maybe one person. But the point is, you're working with those people only. So you know what you have to follow, you know how good they are, you know how good you are, and you can kind of coast. And some people kind of coast, and they fall into this sort of trap of maintaining a level, but not getting better. But the people that are forced into places like the Cellar in New York City or the Comedy Store in LA or now the Mothership in Austin, they're doing sets where they're following Dave Attell, they're following Chris DiStefano, they're following Theo Vaughn, they're following Assassins. And it's just like these wild rooms where they're just filled with great comics. Ron White's going up, Roseanne's going up, and there's this feeling in the air because of that, where everybody's super energized and everybody's level goes up. But everybody was influenced by the greats. Like we have on the green room wall, we have Rodney Dangerfield's handwritten notes for his last Tonight Show special. So handwritten notes about all of his bits and even the jokes that he was going to tell when he sat on the panel.
Club?
Yeah, it's at my club. It's framed. Rodney's wife gave it to us when we opened the club. It was an amazing gift, and we framed it, and I was heavily influenced by Rodney in a lot of ways. But one way, he had this I don't give a fuck attitude that was, it was like everybody else was pretending. But he really didn't give a fuck. In his last days, Rodney would go on stage with a bathrobe on, naked. So he was naked with slippers and a bathrobe and stand in front of a fucking arena and crush. And I was there for that. When I was a kid, I was working at Great Woods Center for the Performing Arts in Mansfield. And it was an outdoor concert venue. I got to see Bon Jovi there. I got to see a bunch of artists there. It was fun. I saw Bill Cosby there.
You just bought a ticket just like anybody
No, I was working.
Oh, that's right.
I was a security guard.
I heard the story. It might have been on Hennessy's.
Oh, could
you
be.
tell-
Could
Yeah.
be, probably.
I
I've
remember
told it
hearing
before.
this, yeah.
But Rodney was backstage, and I got a glimpse of him walking through the hallway with a bathrobe on. I'm like, this motherfucker's got a bathrobe on. I thought he was going to change.
Yeah.
I thought he had a bathrobe, and then he puts a suit on and goes on stage. Can't catch a break.
God,
You know,
classic.
it's like, he was amazing, man. He was amazing.
Yeah.
No respect at all.
and now
One-liners just bang, 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 bang.
and you've created this magical place here.
Yeah, what I was going to say about Rodney not giving a fuck, one of the things he did give a fuck about was comedy. And the Rodney Dangerfield Young Comedian special was the most important special that a comic could get on back then. And so many enormous careers were launched because of Rodney Dangerfield. Because Rodney Dangerfield's special, we first met Dice Clay,
Right.
Sam Kinison, Lenny Clark, Dom Irrera.
All on his
so
special.
Many, yeah. So many fucking great comics came out of those Rodney Dangerfield Young Comedian specials. Bill Hicks came out of that. Robert Schimmel came out of that. Great comics. So if you saw the Rodney Dangerfield Young Comedian special and then you saw that Robert Schimmel was going to be in your town soon, like, holy shit. And it was like the best thing that ever happened to these comics, these up-and-coming comics. Because some of them were like, they were too dirty for the Tonight Show. They couldn't do the MTV half-hour comedy
Right.
hour. They wouldn't give you the full thing. You're not going to get full Dice Clay from the half-hour comedy hour. You need to see him at the Rodney Dangerfield
Yeah.
special. And so he just launched everyone from that. And I was always like, I need to do one of those. I need to do like a Rodney Dangerfield kind of special.
So that's been your
Like
goal.
a Joe
with-
Rogan comedy special. But what kind of happened is I've just kind of done it through the podcast.
Oh, okay.
So the podcast has become like a
Yeah.
great launching pad to let people know about great comics. Because if someone comes on here and I'm telling you, hey, this fucking guy is hilarious, you got to go see him.
Right.
People will believe me.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't lie.
Right.
I'm telling you because they make me laugh.
Yeah.
And if they don't, I just fucking steer clear. I try
But
to
then,
fucking-
but then the club has been bob and weave.
Kind of bob and weave.
But then the club has been an ancillary
Yeah.
product of that too, where it's even helping even more, because then you can have these guys in here, right?
Yeah, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
All of it helps. It's all good, but but having a club like that makes me really realize that we all are a part of like this hive mind of artists. They're all like trying to be funny. Like everybody's like working really hard. Everybody's writing new bits. They got Kill Tony where every Monday night, you know, guys like David Lucas and William Montgomery and Hans Kim, they're doing one new minute every week. So there's this like fucking buzz
Yeah.
of energy in that place.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
All I know is I see the post and it's just like there's that FOMO type, like, God, this looks incredible. It just looks like
It's
how can I be part of it? You know,
can come hang out.
Yeah, I
We're
know.
gonna be
It's
there
just
tonight.
But the point is like what you've created is just so special.
It's cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So
it doesn't really seem real.
Doesn't hunting need something like that?
How would you do that?
I don't know. Well,
How would you do that? You would have to have like what Jesse's doing, have some sort of an academy.
Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse Griffith, the chef.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess a lift, run, shoot, but it's like we talked about having like a little, I don't know, like a get together where you could have new hunters come in and kind of share knowledge and things like that.
Yeah,
It'd be fun.
It would be good if there was a way that they could learn, where there was like real courses.
Yeah.
And all the aspects of hunting. Because I was very fortunate to become friends with you and to become friends with Vanilla and guys like Ryan Callahan and Adam Greentree, people that I could call and ask questions to,
Yeah.
people I could talk to, people that you could steer me in a certain direction. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, hey, what happens when this happens? Hey, what is it? So it's like a massive boost in my education.
Yeah.
You know, and it just also being able to go actually into the woods with you.
Yeah,
which is where we came up with this idea.
That's the hard part, because I mean I am having a lift, run, shoot event at the end of July, but it's not, when I go hunting, it's so special to me.
It's very different.
I'm only gonna share it with people who I generally care about. You know, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying I don't care about these people.
Yeah,
who
I
are
know what you
coming.
mean. You can only go. There's only so many days in the year.
Right. Like,
Yeah.
and so but you know, your vision with the comedy scene, I do love hunting or bow hunting as much. And, you know, I don't know.
I know what you're saying. There's
I wanna
not
give
like a
back.
same kind of camaraderie thing. Well, we were talking about people talking shit, and this happens in all forms of, I guess you would call this entertainment in some sort of a weird way, because social media stars that are bow hunters and television stars that are bow hunters, they are kind of entertainers in a strange way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing
Nowadays.
Yeah, that's part of it, right? It's kind of part of it in some weird way. And whenever there's entertainment, there's numbers. There's 80 people like this, but 160 like that, and 1,000
Yeah.
people like this guy, but 5,000 people like that guy. And then the guy that only has 80 doesn't like the guy who has 160,
I know.
and the guy who runs 5 miles is mad at the guy who runs 15.
Can be pretty toxic.
Yeah, but that's with everything, man. With everything.
It's true. Like you know, I said I don't even deserve to be on this platform, but like for whatever reason I am. So like one of my goals since I quit my job has been like, I'm going to try to be a positive. I've been positive like to you. You know what I mean? But not really. I don't know.
You've been tired, man. You've been working all day.
I've been
what is it like to not have to work anymore?
I'm working.
You
like
are
I
working,
said,
but you're working for you now.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing is like, so I had people like offer me podcasts and they'd produce it, they'd do everything. And then I just decided I'm just going to do it all myself. I'm going to pay all the money out. I'm just going to do it myself, and I own it, whether it sinks or swim. I'm not relying on anybody else. So that's what I've done with this. And I'm like, now that this is my job, I'm like, well, this industry's changed my life, and I'm gonna I decided I'm giving away a brand new Ford truck off my website, and I'm like,
Really?
fuck it, I'm giving away a brand new truck and $10,000 because in cash, just because, dude, my podcast, all that shit is blowing up.
Yeah, I told you. Told you it was gonna. How many times did I have to tell him?
I know.
How many times did I have to tell you?
But I'm like,
Let's celebrate. I'm gonna crack open the devil's nectar.
I can't, dude.
This
I'm
is,
so
Espresso 300.
I'm
Let's
so
go.
I'm so amped up on.
Salute, my brother. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so amped up on veteran-owned.
Yeah, you're
Caffeine.
veteran-owned companies. Both
I
of
know.
them. Both Killcliff and Black Rifle. Both great guys too. And this is out now. You can go to killcliff.com. The Octane CBD elk blood. It's 25 milligrams of CBD in it. No bullshit. No sugar. I mean, don't drink them all day, but they're great for you. And
But-
it's legit 25 milligrams of CBD. Yeah, I like it, man. I'm a big fan of CBD all around, but I love the fucking flavors. And the one on the left is my Flaming Joe.
Well,
That's mine. But all their flavors are great. And Adesanya has one. Israel Adesanya
no.
Style Bender.
I don't think so.
What do you mean? He has a Kiwi one.
I think
They stop having that?
I think he's with Prime now.
Oh, no.
I think he's with Prime. I saw him with Logan Paul.
Well, I got a case of that shit in my house, and I'm going to hoard it. It was
But-
good. It's kiwi. You know what it's good with? Tequila. A little ice cube, a little tequila, a little kiwi. Oh, baby, baby, baby.
Tequila doesn't make me better at anything.
Doesn't, except talking shit.
But
If you were a professional shit talker, maybe you'd appreciate tequila. It's like creatine for shit talking.
well, thank you for the inspiration to start this new.
My brother, I'm so
wanna
happy you
to
listened.
start this new chapter, and the success, like I said, has been incredible, and it's because of the community. So there are people who talk shit. There's people like, I'm not even going to say his name, but Steve's brother. He's a professional shit talker on the hunting industry.
Well, people, listen. There's a great quote. I'm sorry, I'm going to use this one more time, but all criticism is a tragic result of unmet needs.
Unpack that.
Well, the reason why people get so mad is they don't feel like they're getting what they deserve, and they see, unless there's some legitimate criticism, like unless someone realizes you're running a Ponzi scheme or something like that.
Yeah.
A lot of times when people are hating on someone who's truly an exceptional person, if all you're getting out of the experience of that person is negative, that's not balanced. That's not normal. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
If someone's only getting negative from you, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You're being crazy. You're looking at it in a way where you're trying to find negative, you're focusing on the negative. You're not looking at like the overall top-down picture of the positive things. Because you spread so much positivity. You're all about hard work. You're all about discipline. And you're all about this passion that you have for bow hunting. And this idea that somehow here's the thought, right? There's one thought that I kind of understand where they're coming from. And this thought is that putting all of this out on social media, you're kind of cheapening this experience that is so pure and so difficult to acquire and in a way kind of sacred. And you're turning it into like, fucking clickbait bullshit. You're turning it into selfies. You're turning it into like, look at me, I'm amazing.
Yeah. Commercialization
yeah.
is what they say.
Commercialization, but also a distortion of the thing itself, And I think there's some validity to that. And I know what they're saying when they're saying that. But it's a perspective thing. I think if you just look at the overall person, what does the actual person stand for? And what is the net positive effect of them posting about all this stuff? The net positive effect is inspiration. And this is one thing that a lot of people have a hard time with. They don't like the fact that you're inspiring, and I'm inspiring, more people to do this.
Right.
And they think that these people are going to have realistic expectations based on the availability that you have to hunt and I have to hunt and they have to hunt on public land. And that's absolutely true. It's absolutely true. But this is my experience. So if I can't talk about my experience because I'm going to have a distorted version of this thing because it's the best version of this thing, that means I shouldn't show you my cars either. That means I shouldn't show you my comedy club. Like, a lot of my life doesn't make any sense,
Right.
including the places I get to hunt and the people I get to hunt with. Yeah, it's not fair. Yeah, it's not fair. Life's not fair. That's
Right.
not fair.
Right.
Yeah, not everybody can do it. But I used to be poor, and I
Yeah.
can do it. You can do it too.
So did I.
Like, people can do it. It's not an easy thing to acquire, but if you focus on it, you can do it too. There's a lot of people out there that get to hunt in the places that we get to hunt at. It's not the whole world. It's not the whole public, and I understand that. But it's, as far as like the barrier to entry is not the same barrier to entry as having a crazy car.
Here's what I've noticed is like,
You know what I'm saying, though?
I do. I get that. But when you say that you were poor,
Yeah.
I was poor, and we've achieved this thing, right? What I've noticed in like with doing every person I've had on here, probably every person you've had on my podcast and every person you've had, is like what is common about those guests is they have a passion for something,
Yeah.
and they've used it for a positive endeavor. They've overcome so much. Like every guest I've talked to, they have this one thing that they've been obsessed with.
Mm-hmm.
They rode that obsession and passion to success. So that's the message.
Yeah, that's the message.
What's your whatever you're passionate about,
Yeah.
that can elevate your entire life.
Yeah. I think the criticism that people have when it comes to social media hunting and the validity of it is that you're turning it into the same thing as, posing in front of, famous places for likes.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of bastardizing it, the commercializing of it. I get what they're saying. But there's also this thing that they're saying that I don't like, where they're saying it's causing more people to want to go hunting. It's causing more people to fill up the trailheads. Well, guess what? Those are the people that are going to vote to keep hunting legal. Like, you have to be careful about that.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want it to become a small thing. You want it to become a bigger thing. Even if it's harder to do and you have to go further and go to different places, I think that adjustment is probably better than the adjustment of somehow or another people that don't know what this thing is voting on it and making it illegal. Because that's not outside the realm of possibility.
No.
And that's,
not at all.
in some places of the world, that's the norm.
Well, and here's where that argument is a little bit, I get it. I do get it. Because when I would hunt the wilderness, I hated seeing a boot track. So
yeah.
I get it. I wouldn't even tell people, my friends and family, where I was hunting because I wanted to protect it.
Right.
So I get it. I'm not
get it,
saying they're wrong. But where it kind of loses a little bit of it is when you're talking about a trailhead being crowded. So Oregon, where I'm from, is 60% public. It's a lot of public land. Alaska, 95% public. Where most of the hunters are, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, back east, right? Most of the hunters, so 300,000 bow hunters are in Pennsylvania. They have a very small percentage of public land compared to Alaska,
What about
Montana.
Texas? Texas is one of the craziest ones.
Texas has a million bow hunters, and 5% is public.
Yeah, it's nuts.
So, yeah, if we're talking public land, I think Oregon has 16,000 bow hunters. It's not very many.
Not compared to Texas is 1 million.
And 60% of Oregon is public. So you're going to be able to find places to hunt. Montana, that's where Steve's brother's from, and that's where his, he's very protective of Montana, and talks about how there's not enough public land. It's being bought up by these what do they call the Hunt Trust, I think, or Land Trust. That's what it is, Land Trust, where they're leasing out hunting rights. Well, if you look at Montana, most of the private is down low because it's agriculture. If you're talking wilderness and mountains, that's public land. So where do you want to hunt? A land trust can't buy down on the private land. That's cattle ranches. That's farmers trying to make money. So go up into the wilderness. Go hunt the mountains.
So where's the land trust purchasing so they can lease it out for hunters?
Well, I know they're not purchasing. That's not land trust in wilderness. That's down on, like they say, well, if a rancher isn't making money from cattle, he's going to sell it to people who want to do a hunting lease on it and sell out hunting rights instead. Okay, well, that was private anyway.
Yeah, not only is it private anyway, but
So
that's a weird one. Like,
I get what he's saying.
is he worried it's a slippery slope? That eventually Montana could be something like what Texas is.
He's saying that the European hunting model of just the rich can hunt
Right.
is going to be the United States. That's where
Is
we're
that
going.
possible?
How with the so much public land? The West is largely public.
Right, but if it starts to creep in on that, if the private land starts to creep in on the public land, like if let's just say, I don't even know if this is legal, but let's say a state is horribly in debt.
Yeah.
And they have an offer to sell off a chunk of private land.
States are always in debt.
Public land, rather. Right.
They're always in debt.
Wasn't that someone wanted to do that and they got in trouble in Utah and a bunch of people organized against them? There was like a representative who wanted to do that.
I think so. That was
Chaffetz. What's his name?
Jason Chaffetz.
Chaffetz, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a situation like that?
I went and talked to him back in Washington about that.
Yeah. What was that?
It was about there was a certain percentage of, some of it was landlocked public land because there's public land but you couldn't get to it.
Right.
And then there was some a couple million or a few million acres that were somehow into that where the public didn't have access to it because of it was an argument between if the states manage it but they can't do it, then the federal takes it over and then it changes everything, and states can never make it work money wise because they don't have the money. Federal has more money.
I see.
So and it gets into the whole argument on timber management, like they won't go in and harvest timber because they're worried about politics. Because they won't harvest timber, the fires burn hotter and are more devastating. Like in California, they're so worried about politics. Basically, the liberals throwing a fit about getting in there and managing the timber and doing selective cuts and things like that and cleaning up, which turns into fuel for wildfires. That they don't do any of it, and that's what makes the fires burn hotter. And
wasn't that Trump's argument? He was saying that they're not managing their forest. Like when California was having wildfires, he was saying something about withholding funding. Wasn't there something like that they were doing it wrong?
Yeah, I mean,
what did he say? Trump had some criticism about the way that California was managing.
He made that statement about they need to sweep the ground or something like that, and everyone was like, "What?
Sweep the ground?"
Well,
They just put bleach on it.
But that's when everyone, they made
What
the
they
jokes.
need
no,
to do,
it's clean. It's
clean the
salvage
ground,
logging.
just sweep it up.
So, what happens?
Beautiful rakes.
No, what he's talking about, like if there is a fire,
He said you got to clean the floor.
You got to clean your floors.
Right.
I see what he's saying.
no,
though.
if
you gotta
if
clean
there
your
is a
floors.
fire and there's all that fuel there,
right? Of course,
they can't get in there and haul it out.
But that's
So
actual conservationist thinking,
Right.
Right. You really do have to make sure that
You have to manage
it's not filled with dry dead.
You have to manage timber.
You have to
I mean,
manage
that's
timber.
all there is to it.
And you have to manage wildlife.
Yeah.
And all those are
true.
uncomfortable things for some people. Like you were talking about the amount of bears that were killing those calves. They're starting to see it again in California. I said, you got to clean your floors. Mm-hmm. You got to clean your forests. There are many, many years of leaves and broken trees, and they're like so flammable.
Yeah.
You touch them and it goes up. Okay, first of all, you don't want to clean the leaves off the floor because that's compost.
Most of
and
the
then
time-
some of the nutrients that actually go into the soil itself. It comes
Yeah,
from
it's
decayed leaves. It's like a part of the ecosystem, right?
Right. The leaves aren't up in the big timber
No.
country.
When I was looking for Bigfoot with Duncan Trussell, we were looking for Bigfoot for
Yeah.
a television show it was awesome. But we were in the Pacific Northwest. I guess it was Mount Rainier. Was that the one that's right above
It's in Washington.
Washington?
Yeah.
Right above Seattle. Mm-hmm. So we were up there, and we encountered a lot of elk. There's elk everywhere up there. It was crazy. I mean, just thick, just piles of elk shit everywhere you went. But the floor was so quiet.
Yeah.
It was so quiet. And if you're bow hunting, good luck, bitch.
Right.
You're basically shooting through a box of Q-tips. Like there is no
Pretty
path.
thick.
There's
Right.
no path. It's a jungle.
Right. So that, was it wet?
Oh my God, it's so wet. It rains
Yeah.
constantly, and you're just walking through the most lush, green, vibrant forest. There's so much fuel
Yeah.
for all those plants.
That's on the west side of the Cascades. So on the east, it's dry.
Ah,
And so,
interesting.
right. And so when you got down to those fires like in Paradise, California, that's dry country.
Yeah.
So that if you're not doing any salvage timber management down there, that's all fuel.
Do you see what's going on with Canada with the fires? New York City is filled with smoke.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
People
I
took
know.
photos from New York City. My daughter told me today, she found on TikTok, because that's where they learn everything, that breathing the outside air in New York City is like smoking a half a pack of cigarettes a day.
Yeah.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah, it's they're up in Alberta. There's fires.
You
Right
know what they're
before I got
saying,
there.
though? You know what's
Huh.
hilarious?
What?
That masks aren't effective in protecting you.
Yeah. God, masks.
That even N95 masks for kids because they're not fitted properly. Oh, you mean like air gets in?
Why?
Wait a minute.
When I see somebody in a mask, I want to punch them.
I want to hug them. That's the difference between you and me.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, I was gonna ask. Oh wait. Okay. There's two things.
Sometimes I want to punch them.
I know. There two things.
I don't want to punch them. I want to let them know that I want to punch them. I don't want to actually punch them.
This has been like on a Ferris wheel. I lost it and then it came back
Okay.
around. So two things. Now I already forgot the one thing. The other thing was, you know how you don't like politics on here,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Do you think in some ways you have a responsibility
No.
to the people?
No, they have. Everyone has a responsibility to do what the fuck they want to do.
Because, you know, some people would say you're the largest media in the world.
That's ridiculous. That means
No,
there's
no.
a supply
That-
chain issue.
That's
what
not-
that is.
You are, though.
Someone's fucking up.
Well, that might be. But, okay. So if you are,
I think it's all nonsense. All of it.
I know.
I'll talk to some people and hear their version of how to fix this nonsense.
yeah,
I'm sure. And but I'm interested in what I'm interested in.
I know.
And I have to kind of keep it that way. If I start thinking of this as a platform, an
Yeah.
important platform, well, shut the fuck up. It's
That's-
just me and Jamie and you.
That's why
It's
I want.
ridiculous.
That's why I wanted your thoughts on it because
Yeah.
I've heard that before. You know,
People
because
should shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Your responsibility is to be yourself. We're just looking at things in this wild scale that is sort of unprecedented.
I think because people are frustrated with Robert Kennedy Jr. not having a platform. You know, like
Yes.
they don't want him to get his message out because you know he's a threat because he makes a lot of sense. So that's why the Democrats don't want to have a debate. That's
They're ignoring him. That's what's wild. It's like they're pretending he doesn't exist.
right. So people are saying they would love to see him. I heard you and Theo talking about it, so I'm not trying to go over that again.
Yeah.
But so it's just a weird time with media and platforms and politics, especially because we've seen what suppression does.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for anybody. It's not democratic.
Right.
Like if they decide that they can not tell you about people and not inform you about people that are very credible people. The guy, environmental attorney, guy's a Kennedy. His dad was Robert F. Kennedy, who got assassinated. He was there when he died in the hospital when he was 14. His
Yeah.
uncle was JFK.
Yeah.
He comes
That
from this-
perspective.
and he's a brilliant guy.
How valuable is that?
It's very valuable, but the system that's in power, they have like a coalition. They know what they're doing. They want to keep things exactly as they are now. They want to keep control of what they are now, and especially the administration that's in currently. If some new person comes in, all their jobs are at stake.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody goes.
Right.
Some new guy, if RFK Jr. becomes the president, all those people working for Biden are gone. Right? They know that. They're going to do their best to use all of their resources, all of their connections with media. They're going to do their best to discredit him with hit pieces, and maybe they even believe the things that are in those hit pieces. But at the end of the day, the only thing that changes it is if the media realizes that guy's going to win. And if that guy's going to win, you're going to have to deal with a whole new group of people once they get in there. And so now it's time to play
Yeah.
ball with the new people.
Start kissing ass.
Now it's time to play ball with the new people.
Yeah,
but
but
that's that they're trying to stop that from happening. They don't want that to happen.
Right. But
You taking notes? Look at you over there.
I know. I'm not going to forget this
He's
one.
making tic-tac-toe. He's playing against himself.
I won. But yeah, so they're going to do all they can to suppress. First, they'll suppress him. Then they'll try to talk
Discredit
shit,
him.
discredit him,
Yeah.
and do everything they can until they get to that point, the tipping point. Then they're like, oh shit. So that's
Robert F.
what's-
Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard would be hard to beat.
Oh man, I love Tulsi.
That'd be hard to beat.
She
The
carried,
two of them together
She
would be
carried
very
my
hard to
fucking
beat.
rock, dude.
She did. She's a beast.
God.
And she only eats vegetables. We got to talk to her about that.
And what?
She only eats vegetables.
Oh, I know. I wanted to take her hunting, and she said she's Hindu, and so
Yeah.
she doesn't eat meat. I was like, fuck, because she'd be a great hunter.
I know she would.
She's so tough.
Someone's got to explain to her. This is nonsense. This not eating meat thing. It's
I
not
know.
good for you. Should be even better.
Well, I mean, bear.
Have a little bear.
She could have bear.
Little bear pepperoni.
Doesn't seem like that would hurt anything.
Listen, have some wild pig. They got to get rid of them anyway.
Yeah,
It'd be a shame to not eat them.
but you're right. Tulsi, Robert F. Kennedy.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
That'd be tough to beat.
Yeah, I talked to her about that in on my podcast, and the problem is to run for governor in a state, $50 million. To run for president, $500 million.
Jesus Christ.
Is what you need.
It just keeps people out.
Yeah, so unless you have some private donor like an Elon Musk,
Or you're Trump.
where's she going to get $500 million?
Right. Yeah.
That's so wrong.
It's crazy.
So it's money is deciding everything.
Yep. And that's how they like it. Because that way the people that have the money get to stay in power. Mm-hmm. And it's, but that's the thing. Like if the people are overwhelmingly supporting someone else, they'll shift. Mm-hmm. They'll shift too, because that's where the money's going to be. It's just like hopefully the money there will be more ethically distributed. They'll do it in a better way. With someone, that's what we all hope for. We hope for a president that has the character and the moral foundation and the intellect to realize a better way of managing this, and also a way of uniting people and getting this divide that happened during this country. It was, first of all, it was Trump supporters.
The last election, yeah.
Yeah, Trump supporters against the Democrats, because it really wasn't Biden. It was just Democrats winning. It was someone else winning. And then it was vaccinated people against unvaccinated people. This crazy divide where you saw people that are just so scared of this virus that they were willing to cast aside their humanity and call people that were skeptical of the vaccine, call them like... I call them plague rats. I saw people call people wild shit. People that I knew. Yeah. And I was like, and then, what is wrong with you?
You follow Eddie Bravo, right?
Oh, my God. He's one of my best friends.
I know. But so he put up a video the other day, and it's like this compilation of this message that mainstream media had about COVID.
Oh, yeah. No one's safe. No one's safe.
No one's
safe.
And over and over. And then then you'll never get it. You'll never get sick. You'll never die.
Yeah.
And then they all get it. And it's like this whole timeline where you see that lying and selling this fear the whole time and still never admitting it.
Well, it's a narrative. They were given a narrative, and they were told that this is the narrative that you're supposed to relay on television.
How's that different than
It's not.
Some messed up country with, some third world country?
It's not, but they thought they could get away with doing it in this case because of a pandemic. Because there's an emergency.
Yeah.
And so that's why you have to be very careful about giving up any powers to the government during an emergency, because they'll capitalize on that. They're not stupid. They know this is an opportunity.
Yeah.
They can clamp down on you. Did you see that thing about the World Health Organization? They're in the EU, this vaccine passport system that they've devised. You see that? I retweeted it. People are freaking out about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you don't give people power. Don't give people power to do things they couldn't do before, because they're going to keep it and they're going to expand. And if you don't fucking hold the line and you think it's a good thing to give in because we all have to be safe, like, oh my God. If you got to be safe, then just tell people about it and the smart people will take it if it's really safe. But if you make them take it, then you can make them do things. If you can make them do things, and if they don't want to do things, then you get to do things to them. You get to take away their money, you take away their job, take away their ability to travel. Don't give in to that. You can't give in to that, because you're giving that power to other human beings that you might not agree with, and you might not trust their judgment. And just because they won an election, that means they're smarter than you and they can sense what's really going on better than you. And maybe they're compromised by money. And maybe it's clear that they're compromised by money. Maybe they're in a whole party that's compromised by money, that's in cahoots with a media organization that's compromised by money, and they all spit out the same narrative.
Right.
And they can now tell you can't travel if you don't agree.
I know.
And they don't have to be right. And they don't have to debate it openly. They don't have to have a consensus amongst all the intellectuals where they can do it anonymously, where they don't have any fear of repercussions of their career, which is a lot of people. During this whole thing, they didn't want to speak out about any of it. And the people that did got attacked, and they got attacked directly by the government. There's like real clear organization involved in going after certain scientists that had a specific narrative, certain scientists that weren't towing the line.
Yeah. You had them on here.
Yeah, but not just those guys. There was a lot of other guys too. There's the people from the Great Barrington Declaration. World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom. Oh boy,
Yeah.
Ghebreyesus announced digital immunization vaccine certificates, which will be required to participate in society. So listen to this.
While the emergency phase of the COVID-19 pandemic is now over, investments in digital infrastructure remain an important resource for health systems and for economies and societies at large. Like many countries, the European Union made significant investments in COVID-19 certificates to help people move around as safely as possible during the pandemic. The European Union's certification system was used by all 27 EU member states and more than 50 other countries. Building on the success of the EU system, WHO is proud today to launch the Global Digital Health Certification Network. So thank you so much to European Union for the excellent certification system that you have.
Now here's the problem. Stop that for a second. It didn't work.
No.
Here's the problem. It's not even an effective vaccine.
Right.
Right? I mean, maybe it saved lives in the beginning, but we read this study from the Cleveland Clinic the other day that was saying that overall in the Cleveland Clinic from the health workers, when they did a survey of them, the ones who got vaccinated the most got COVID the most.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
So it's not even like it just stops it dead in its tracks like they were saying in the beginning of the pandemic. And
No.
yet they're still trying to implement this digital system where you have to take this medicine that they've showed didn't work that good.
You know what it is, though? So he said, based on the success of whatever that was,
Yeah.
what success? So it reminds me of Biden getting on there right now. He's making posts every day about how successful they've been and the most jobs in the history of the presidency of the United States, and economy is coming back better. And it's like,
It's gaslighting.
it's just 100% a lie.
It's just gaslighting. But also,
They know
people-
it's not true.
For them to do this is what everybody was worried about.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was worried about some global system where you have to opt into it. You can't travel unless you do.
But he's
Everybody was
saying-
worried about that.
But he's saying on the heels of the success.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's so crazy because people are furious. The people that took the vaccine and still got COVID and got very sick are furious that they got lied to.
Well, and the cancer in young adults is skyrocketing, the cancer numbers based on the vaccine, apparently.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know what the studies say, and I don't know if anybody's doing studies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I don't know, that's that correlation equals causation thing, but it's something to be concerned with. The uptick in just deaths is a weird thing to be concerned with. All-cause mortality is up.
Right.
Which
Yeah.
is weird. And
Well-
people want to attribute that to different things. Oh, they were drinking a lot during the pandemic. Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they would, but also another thing happened too. Remember that other thing where everybody had to take a shot? Like,
Yeah.
how about that? Why is no one considering that?
Right.
Like, no one who's in these mainstream news organizations is looking over these numbers and saying, do you have to be concerned if you've had a vaccine injury? Do you have to be concerned? Have you had an adverse reaction? Do you
And they
have to be
hide those
concerned?
numbers.
They're not trying to seek them out, that's for sure. They're not trying to ask people to come forward if you have.
Yeah.
And we need to know the real numbers. They're not running like some sort of a wide. Wouldn't you think they would do that?
Yeah.
If you're going to do something,
If you cared about society, like you say,
right? If you weren't in cahoots with an organization that could lose money
Right.
based on these results, wouldn't you do that? You probably would. You should do that. That we should know, and they should know. The pharmaceutical drug companies should know. Everyone should know. Like, what's the real result of this? And if it's positive, it's positive. If it's a small amount of people that have side effects,
Great.
Okay,
Let us
great.
know.
But there's never been a time ever in our country where this was mandated on adults, where adults were told that they had to take a very specific medication in order to do things like go to work. Like, that's crazy, especially
know.
experimental one with no long-term data,
yeah.
and one that was just rolled out for the whole world.
Very happy I didn't take it.
Well, it was also watching the machine come after people who
Yeah.
didn't take it and come
Yeah.
after people like me who didn't take it and got better quick.
Well, okay. So this is like, I was going to ask you before yesterday, where was Tucker Carlson? Because it seems like he just disappeared. I was like, did they kill him? Is he gone?
He got a Twitter show.
Yeah, but then he made a show. So I was like, that screwed up my question to you, because I was like, have you heard? I'd never seen anybody disappear off the face of the earth like Tucker did until he just,
Well, I think he probably had to get his legal ducks in a row. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big difference between like leaving, a sitcom or something.
Yeah.
And leaving Fox News when you're the number one guy.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of speculation about why would they get rid of the number one guy?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Business-wise, what is going
Unless
on?
the number one guy's got a body in his basement. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, this is going to come out. I mean,
he was gone, though. I mean,
Right.
there was I've never seen anybody just disappear, and then he
made a couple of videos. He made a short video right afterwards when they were attacking him.
Yeah.
And then
it was like a month, though.
They did a thing with Twitter, right?
Yeah, just recently, 2 days
Yeah.
ago.
It's
And did you see the views it got?
yeah, crazy numbers.
68 million.
Crazy numbers. And it's gonna be the case. Like, by trying to silence that guy, they've made him gigantic. He's bigger than he's ever been.
Okay, so then that's leading me to my other thank you for that, because so they tried to silence him. They tried to silence you. The White House mentioned you. So how do people like you and Tucker beat the system in that regard and become uncancelable?
Well, there's not uncancelable.
Well, they tried everything with you.
They're probably going to keep trying. That's just what they're doing. They're trying to discredit people that they think are a threat, and they have a very specific narrative. And the White House's narrative. I mean, you see how that Peter Doocy guy gets into it with the White House press secretary lady all the time about illegal immigrants and about all the different things that are happening in the border, and what is Biden doing? Like, what's happening in Ukraine? Like, and when you see their resistance to any questioning, like this particular White House press secretary lady, well, I'm trying to tell you. I feel like there's like testiness to it.
Yeah.
There's this condescending attitude.
Right.
I mean, and I don't blame her. She's essentially like a cop that's been sent to quiet down a mob. Like, all right, folks, I know you all want to go back to your homes, but
So
here's
tough.
what's going on. Please in the back. You know,
Yeah.
like, it's a combative position. Like, that Kayleigh McEnany lady, she was the best at it.
Yeah, she was.
She's the fucking goat.
Composed.
She's
Yeah.
the goat. And she always came correct with the notes. And she
Yeah.
never lost her composure. She was able to, like, shoot. You're playing some kind of crazy verbal tennis match going back and forth.
Yeah.
But, they had to talk about me. It was just a thing. They had a narrative, and this narrative was you got to get vaccinated, and anybody who has anybody on that says that there's anything wrong with the vaccine, this is COVID misinformation. It's going to cost people lives.
Yeah.
And there was no narrative that could compete with that. There's no, like, hey, folks, it's really important to get your metabolic health in order. Hey, folks, you need to be taking vitamin D. Everyone should supplement with vitamin D. The White House has ordered the increase in production of vitamin D and the distribution in areas all across the country. Hey, folks, you've got to lose weight. There's all these studies that are coming out that's showing that overweight people are so much more susceptible. The percentage of people that wind up in the ICU, they all have 4 or more comorbidities. Let's try to chop those down. Legit info, ladies and gentlemen. But they can't. They can't say stop eating sugar. Then fucking Coca-Cola's going to go, what the fuck are you doing? That's my business.
We give this much money to the campaign.
If someone came on television, like an Obama or like someone who's a person that people trust, and said, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to me and you got a donut in your hand, put it down, please. This is what's killing us. If you look at photos of people on the beach, look at photos of people on the beach in 1970, and look at photos of the people on the beach today. Like, we look gross.
They want people controllable consumers.
Well, some factions of our society want people controllable consumers, but we are society, and we don't have to accept that. And
But if
we've
you fight
accepted it
against
so
it-
long. But you don't have to fight against it. You just have to not ever participate in it, and you have to make sure that everybody knows what it is and make it change the way it behaves, because it's not legal anymore, because it's not accepted. You have to figure out a way. Like, if you want to release a medication, you have to have access to the actual data, not the data as interpreted by the scientists that have made it. And that's one of the things that we learned about the whole process of peer review when it comes to a lot of these pharmaceutical drugs. That's how they sneak them in, because they make a whole bunch of studies.
Yeah.
And they just gear the study to make sure that they get the results they want, and that's the one they release. And all the ones that show that it does harm, they get rid of those studies.
Yeah.
And they bury them. We don't have access to it. That's crazy. And the only way that that's possible is through corruption. The only way that's possible is through money. Because if we're really concerned about the human beings that are having to take this medication, there should be a completely independent body that does all these examinations.
Third party. I mean,
But completely independent.
don't
meaning,
you do it with your supplements?
Yes,
the
we did.
double-blind study?
Well, not just that. We actually sent them off to third party. We had to do that because we found out early on when we were making Alpha Brain that when we would make our supplements, whether it was Alpha Brain or Shroom Tech Sport, I forget which one it was, but we had sent it out, and then we did a third party study. We found vitamins that were in there that weren't in the original formula. And it was just trace amounts. And we realized that they were using the same bins for Alpha Brain that they maybe were using for like vitamin B12 or this and that. So you're getting like contaminated stuff. So you have to realize, okay, well, now we're dealing with a irreputable vendor. They're not doing the right thing. So now we have to switch people that make it. Or not vendor, manufacturer. So we have to switch manufacturers.
Yeah.
So we had to do that. And it was like a trial and error thing. We have to realize that. But
So if you're that committed for supplements,
yeah.
more committed than for medicine?
It's crazy. We did it because we wanted to know. Like in the beginning, like a lot of people were saying that like Alpha Brain was snake oil, and I was like, listen, we should fund a study. We should fund a study. So we funded a study for the Boston Center of Memory. We did a pilot study, and then we did another study, and it showed all sorts of positive increases in verbal memory. It's alpha flow state, reaction time. There was good, solid data that showed in actually like half the dose that I take. When I take Alpha Brain, there was positive results. And so that was very reassuring because I'm like, I don't believe this is a placebo.
Yeah.
Because it works too well, and there's too much anecdotal evidence. There's too much evidence about some of the ingredients. And when you put them together synergistically, it only makes sense that it would work better. And it does.
That's beautiful. I just want that same type of commitment
But the thing is, the FDA,
to medicine.
See, with like the thing is, the FDA with supplements, it's just kind of squirrely. You don't have to do that. It's real supplements are squirrely. You know, because there's not a lot of regulation when it comes to like vitamin supplements. Part of me thinks that's good because there's companies like Pure Encapsulations, right? Which has a phenomenal reputation. They make the best stuff. And so when I see Pure Encapsulations that sells whatever various supplements, I tend to lean towards buying them because I know that's a really great brand. But you can buy some shady shit that's made somewhere that has like half the efficacy. Like I know some guys who did some third-party tests on some supplements, and they found it was like 25% what it was supposed to be in terms of dosage, and 25% of active ingredients. So it's like you got to get it from people that you trust, but the problem is along the way people are going to get fucked, and people do, and it happens with UFC fighters. They get tainted supplements.
Yeah.
It happens all the time, or it used to happen all the time. The guys became more careful. But if you go to USADA's website, when they show for the athletes, they have a list of supplements that you should avoid because they've been determined to have illegal substances in them. It's a fucking shitload.
Yeah.
How many of them are on the USADA website? It was a shitload, right? It was like just label after label after label.
Like
so it's
I said,
unregulated.
I just want that same level of testing for what they're pushing to society.
Well, they should want to do it, just like we wanted to do it for Alpha Brain. But the problem is if they wanted to do it and they have all this money invested in it, and it turns out that thing is not as effective as they've been advertising, what do they do now? Well, what we think they do is they fund studies that make it look like it's more effective than it is, or they gear the study to make it look like it's more effective than it is in a very particular way, and then they release that. And then they come up with a justification, and that's what they did with Vioxx. And there's a paper trail. You could see how they coordinated this and how they knew. They even said, we know there's going to be people going to have some problems, but we're going to do very well with this.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy thing to say when you're talking
It's a
about
business
people's
model.
lives.
It's a business model.
But it's what that business is. If you're in the business of being a vampire, and I'm like, why aren't you growing flowers? Because he's a fucking vampire. Like wolves are in the business of being wolves.
Right.
And those CEOs that are just in the business of making the most money possible, when they get access to the kind of loot that they made during the pandemic, they're addicted to that now. That's the new thing. Wasn't it something crazy like 40 new billionaires were made during the pandemic?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why?
They were balling.
They're balling. So that's their business. That's what they do. They're going to continue doing what they do if you allow them to do it that way.
Right.
It doesn't mean they shouldn't be in business. Of course they should be in business. They make dick pills.
Yeah.
They make all kinds of good stuff. They make diabetes medication.
I love dick pills.
Pandemic creates new billionaires every 30 hours. Now 1 million people could fall into extreme poverty at the same rate in 2022.
Yeah.
Whoa.
573 people became a billionaire. It says.
Whoa. Oh, I thought they were just talking about the United States. Is that the world? In the world?
I don't know.
That can't be in the United States. We have 573 billionaires?
Probably the world, I guess.
Yeah, they might come after us if that's true.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking, man, because the people that have that kind of money and that kind of power, they want to maintain that position and they want to maintain that influence over people. And the best way to maintain it is to like tighten down on what people are allowed to do.
Yeah.
Where they have to comply. I mean, the CEO of Pfizer, there was a famous speech where he's giving where he's talking about a pill that you would have to take that sends off a signal to show that you've taken it. And he says, imagine the compliance. This is what he says.
Yeah.
Have you seen him say that?
No.
Let's find that. Find where he says that. Because it's so bonkers. Like compliance. Like,
God.
you know what I mean?
It's scary.
Comply.
Yeah.
You're making people go. So that word, that term, just the thought process behind that statement is so crazy.
Encourage would be better. Comply, like you have no choice.
Here it
Adjustable
says,
pills.
edited to cut important context. CEO Albert Bourla explains. So what is the actual? But it's okay. Says the video discussing ingestible pills with sensors has gone viral, falsely presented as an interview from 2022 and edited to cut out important context. One Twitter user shared the clip on May 20 here, commenting, Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla explains Pfizer's new tech to Davos crowd, ingestible pills, a pill with a tiny chip to send a wireless signal to relevant authorities when the pharmaceutical has been digested. Imagine the compliance, he says. Now, is that really what he said?
Let's see.
So what does he really say?
Yeah, there's a
What's
video.
cut out if he says that? See, this is one of those things where you got to
I
wonder
know.
if they're trying to gaslight you with the headline. He commented on biological sensors during a conversation on general technological advances in healthcare and
I think-
pharmaceuticals. So what has he said? In response to a question from the audience, ideas to engage patient, he calls the research and field fascinating. He says that there's already a pill approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. He moves on to describe this pill, and where the clip version seen on social media begins, and he later concludes, but of course there will be an initial cost and someone needs to invest. Bourla was not talking about a Pfizer drug or technology. Rather, he was describing Abilify MySite, a drug with a digital ingestion tracking system, right?
So that is it.
Okay, for the treatment of schizophrenia, acute treatment of manic and mixed episodes associated with bipolar 1 disorder, and for use as an add-on treatment for depression in adults. So he was talking about a different pill, but he was talking about a pill with a
Yeah.
sensor.
But the point is,
Still the same
That
thing.
is true. So they can
Right.
say, well, it's for this schizophrenia or manic. So that's why that's how they got it approved. But now it's out there.
Right. Well, now it's an actual technology, and if they can mandate
Right.
a medication that you have to take
So they
for
make it-
something else.
They make it sound good by, that maybe that would help those people, but now it can be used on everybody.
Yeah. So here it says that. So it basically is a biological chip that is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and it dissolves into your stomach, it sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that. Compliance.
Okay.
So did he say imagine the applications of that, compliance, and then they edit it to say imagine the compliance?
I think that's what it's saying.
Let's see him say it.
Here's
I was
the,
going to say we just want to play the video.
Yeah,
that
let's play
is
the
in
video.
question, and then
Let's play the
so
video.
it would be this one.
It is basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet. So imagine the applications of that, compliance. The insurance companies to know that the medicines that patients should take, they do take them. It is fascinating what happens in this field.
That doesn't comfort me. If that's
Yeah.
what he really said.
no, but he's saying, so if you have a schizophrenic patient.
Right, and they have to take it.
They to know that they did or didn't take their medicine like they're supposed to.
Yes.
But yeah, you could use that on anything then.
You could use it on anything.
Once
Yeah.
they get it, down the whatever approved, then it's there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And once it's been applied before, they can apply it to other things. And if
Yeah.
they can mandate that everybody takes a medication, they
For
have
health,
that.
for health and safety.
And especially if you have an application. Now, if you have an application,
Yeah.
this World Health Organization digital passport, it sends a signal to your passport. And if you don't, you're not going anywhere.
and they just say it's for health and safety.
It's all bonkers.
Yeah.
And the fucking headline that they had to that is like,
Yeah.
that's that thing that they
I
do.
know.
The
They
gaslighting
twist shit around,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. We were reading this thing about Al Pacino. There's this whole article, and the type of the article was Al Pacino feels like reports are that Al Pacino felt like the girl hoodwinked him, and this and that. And then below that, in small letters, after we talked to him, that's not true.
So the
So
Yeah.
look at this. Look at this. Check out this fucking. Here, we'll go back. Look at this. So this is a really special coming at this time. Al Pacino, 83, breaks silence to celebrate 29-year-old girlfriend's pregnancy after claims he demanded paternity tests because she hoodwinked him. The actor revealed he and his girlfriend, Noor Al-Fala, were expecting last week. Initial reports claimed that Al was not pleased over the news. Sources told Daily Mail that wasn't true, which he has now confirmed.
Then why is it
so
in
he's
the fucking-
confirmed it's not true.
It's still in the headline.
Right, but that's in little tiny letters
Yeah.
below the big headline that says, breaks silence to celebrate 29-year-old girlfriend's pregnancy after claims that he demanded paternity tests because she hoodwinked him.
Yeah.
Claims. Claims. By who?
Yeah.
But that's a headline, so they're allowed to do that, just like they were allowed in that last headline.
That's what drives me crazy. And
So
that-
what was the last headline? Go back.
I sort of understand this one because there were a bunch of claims that he was mad, and they're like, he's
No,
not mad,
no, not the Al Pacino one. Go back to the other headline, the
sorry.
Borla one. What was the headline that discredited what we
it
did?
says that it's
Can you
Pfizer's
show
new
it?
tech. Yeah, it's right there, and it's
Right.
not Pfizer's tech is the problem.
Okay, so it's new tech.
yeah, and
Whether it's
at the,
it's still the CEO of Pfizer
it's
talking
at the
about
World
new tech.
Economic Forum.
It was also in 2018, and they're saying that this was new and a year ago,
Well,
which it's not.
Even
Who
if it's
cares?
2018, it's still crazy.
Yeah, it is.
It's still crazy. And I get it that it was pre-pandemic, so it's a different thing. And in application for schizophrenics, I understand that as well. I know people that are schizophrenic, and I know people that go off their medication and lose their fucking mind. And it's dangerous. It's
No,
weird.
It would probably.
When Brody was off his medication,
Right.
there was a moment when Brody was around the store when he was off his medication, and people were trying to get him back on it, and he was really struggling, and I've seen it. So if you had a situation like that, where you can ensure that Brody was taking his medication, maybe Brody would still be with us. I don't know, but maybe he would be okay. Maybe, but it's also he's a human being, and maybe you should just try to get someone to be with him and make sure he takes his medication rather than forcing a new technology down the throats of everyone for a very small percentage of people that absolutely have to take medication or they go crazy, because most people don't have to do that.
Right.
So to have that kind of tech available, that freaks me out. I don't like it. And especially if you fall into this idea that they're prepared for something like this happening, because if it did, they had sort of an idea of how to implement this sort of a system. And one of the best ways to implement this sort of a system would be some sort of a pandemic where you have new authorizations, new rules,
Yeah.
new abilities to tell people to shut the fuck up and stay in your house.
So the fact that was 2018
Yeah.
doesn't mean they were probably talking about this pandemic back there.
Well, they're definitely talking about a potential for a pandemic.
Yeah.
They've been doing that forever,
I know.
and because human beings have them, they happen all the time.
So one last thing, so what's your thoughts on having Tucker on the show?
What are you trying to do? Make a fucking viral clip? Is that what
No.
you're doing here, Cam Haynes?
No, but because I'm always like, if people are trying to cancel somebody, I want to hear from that person.
Yeah, I want him to sort all this stuff out because I want to find out what's going on with Fox News, but I'd be interested in talking to him.
Yeah.
I think the whole thing is very fascinating because he was one of the only guys that was kind of going against the corporate narrative.
They're in a
Scoop.
lawsuit because he even put that Twitter video up. Apparently now.
So you're not even allowed to put a Twitter video up?
They're saying Fox, according to this article, says that breached his contract. He might have had a non-compete or something, and then they're saying Fox is trying to silence his First Amendment rights.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
if they
that-
kick you off a show, can they say you can't use social media?
Depends on your contract.
Wow. Because
But
is
that-
it possible that his contract said when they kick him off the show that he can't make a video on social media?
It depends. That's where I would go, like putting up an edited 10-minute thing that looks like a show. And if he has a non-compete that says you can't make a show, then that's what their point is. I don't know. That's
interesting.
for a judge
So
to decide.
That's
really.
an interesting little battle.
I wonder if he was like walking down a sidewalk saying that same thing.
Yeah, there might be a way for him to do it.
Yeah,
maybe he needs to do it on a
differently if
jet
it's-
ski.
if it's just
Yeah, I
live
mean,
or whatever,
because it was kind of a studio setting.
Yeah.
So maybe
Maybe you should just put a fucking iPhone on a jet ski and just drive around and just talk to people.
I
That'd be kind
There
of
probably
I
is
just-
a way. Yeah, there's probably a way around the loophole. And
I
Maybe you
just
should go
don't
fishing.
like. I just don't like. I think he does fish.
I know he fishes a lot. He's a
I
big
ju-
time fly fisher.
I don't like when the government or whoever these corrupt TV channels try to cancel somebody. I'm like, I want to hear from him now.
Yeah.
And so he was the number one guy. Now they don't want anybody to hear his voice.
And everybody wants to hear his voice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bad move on
And
their
I-
part. But I think it was a business move. If I had to guess, someone that was one of their sponsors or someone that owns a piece was very upset with his positions, that he was taking some very controversial positions about a lot of things, including the
Yeah.
intelligence agencies. The fucking guy out and out said CIA killed Kennedy on Fox News.
Who he did?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tucker Carlson out and out said the CIA.
See, I trust that guy. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know why, but I trust him. I want to hear from him, and it's
I
like,
trust him more than I trust Don Lemon.
yeah,
I don't know if, I don't know him. I don't know what he's actually like. But Ranella loved having him on the show. You see, he's like
Tulsi
people
says-
that were like ideologically opposed to him, who worked with Ranella when they did the media. They're like, "Fuck, I hate to say it, I really like the guy."
Tulsi said he's a great guy. He goes, you guys would get along,
I bet you would
and so that's
get that motherfucker to run up the mountain.
It's just frustrating. I don't know. I'm just like so frustrated. So
Yeah.
I know you hate the politics, but like
I do.
selfishly, I want to hear from these people, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Well, I
and
think
you're so good at fucking getting to the bottom of everything. I'm like, selfishly, I want you to, even though I know you don't want to, and I get it. And it's your show. Obviously, you'll do what you
I'd
want.
rather
but
talk about cats hitting dicks with Theo Vaughn.
I know. I mean, that's fun to listen to. Also, I just
I
like,
know what you're saying.
I'm concerned about society, and like I'm concerned.
I am too. And I'm concerned that it seems like there's the most transparent power struggle that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because the power struggle is even in regards to like popular Democrats. It's not even about popularity anymore. It used to be like, who's the most popular Democrat? And that popular Democrat, they would run against a Republican. That seemed to be how it always went. And I'm sure there was a lot of fucking funny business going on.
Yeah.
But if someone was uniquely popular, they would essentially, they win out in the debates. And you remember all those days?
Yeah.
There's debates, and you'd like the fucking power would shift, and it looked like this guy was going to win, but then she came along, and then there was always like that. And now they don't want to do that anymore. They don't even want to have debates, which seems insane. It seems insane that we tolerate that they just want to hold on to the position like, nope, we're not going to have any sort of primary debates. Isn't that a part of what we've always done? Shouldn't you watch ideas battle it out against the other ideas? Shouldn't you see how someone stands up to the pressure of these national discussions about very important issues that are affecting us all?
I want to know how people weather that storm. That's the
Yeah.
whole point to it.
That's the whole point to it. And it's the whole point is to give people a chance to watch these people express themselves and decide for yourself.
Yeah, intelligently.
And if they're in cahoots where the media is only putting out a negative version of this one person, and you got people like Hillary Clinton that are saying that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian asset, and crazy talk. Crazy talk.
I
And-
know.
But all that stuff, if that's what gets out, and then you don't let that person talk and you won't let that person debate, and and that's what happened with Tulsi after the whole thing with Kamala Harris.
I
They're
know.
like, we're done with you.
It's
That's enough.
We did that 50 for the Fallen over in Hawaii with Tulsi, and we walked by, and she's like, oh, I live right there in that house. It's like the most normal house in the normal neighborhood. I'm like, no wonder I like her.
She's a normal person.
The most normal person ever, but just like a strong leader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, to me, it was beautiful.
It is. She's an amazing person and unfairly maligned because
Yeah.
of
And then
ideological tribes that people lump themselves in.
Yeah.
If you're on this side, like she's demonized, and you hear people talk about her at parties, and you hear people talk about her at places.
Yeah.
You have to kind of go along with it. You have to agree with it.
And you saying that,
Yeah.
that Hillary was saying she was a Russian asset.
It's insane.
Just made me think that. And I'm like, oh my God, how crazy is that?
It's insane to say, and it's also insane that people didn't push back against it. People weren't furious about it. It's a crazy thing to say. Person who served overseas in a medical unit twice and like developed that white streak in her hair while she was there just from the stress of treating fallen soldiers. It's fucked up. And it's this weird world that we live in, and I think things go in cycles, and I think part of the cycle is the recognition of how fucked up things are now, where new people have to come along that aren't fucked up, and that these people then get the will of the people behind them, and if there's enough power and there's enough influence and there's enough votes, there's enough people that just overwhelmingly believe things, then the powers that be have to play ball with this new person. And hopefully they don't kill that guy like they killed his uncle and killed his brother, or killed his father rather.
Well, and I'm feeling like, I'll just tell you, I feel like when I used to go see my grandma, I used to want to try to get out of there, and she used to keep bringing up things so I didn't leave. That's how I feel like right now with you, because I feel like we've been talking forever, and I keep bringing up the shit. So I'm trying not to like lock you guys in here.
It's okay.
But she said one thing, when we were talking, is like, it just gives perspective to what she stands for. But she said when she was serving overseas and she would leave the base, there was a sign. I don't know if she said this on your podcast, but she'd leave the base and there's a sign that said, "Is today the day?" I'm pretty sure it was something like that. "Is today the day?" And that's serving over there, wondering, is today the day you're not coming back?
Yeah.
Because that's a very real thing. But the fact that she volunteers to do that, gave up, she had a political seat, I think, at that time, even in Hawaii, and to go serve and then face like what our troops face over there, fighting for a greater purpose, and seeing that as today the day, it's like, that's the type of person I think should be in politics.
Yeah, that or a person who really doesn't want the job.
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
fucking Elon Musk type character.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's just very smart, who's like, enough is enough. This is what needs to be done. Some genius billionaire type character who really understands the system and can adequately relay that message to people. So that's the problem with being a president. You can't just be great at these ideas. You also have to have a certain amount of charisma. There's a certain amount of appeal, which is crazy because Biden won, right? But there's a certain amount of, but he won because they didn't want Trump in. I mean, it's real clear there.
Yeah.
No one was real pumped about
No,
Biden.
he's an anti-Trump.
Yeah, it's an anti-Trump. It was anyone but Trump. That was what that vote was. And the crazy thing is that's like more than Trump. It's like more than the country wanted anyone but. Like very few people were excited about that choice because maybe some people in the beginning thought it would be like Obama take two. Like,
Yeah.
it would be more reasonable. And then I think that illusion, that dissolved fairly quickly. So here we are in this weird place where it doesn't look good. There's international conflict with Russia. There's all these war hawks that are calling for more escalation.
The warmongers making money off
There's
it.
people dismissing Trump's idea that he could solve it.
Yeah.
There's there's a lot of weirdness going on in the world, and then there's AI, and then there's UFOs, and everything is happening at the same time. It's really one of the wildest times ever to be alive. When it comes to just life-changing events, world-changing events that can happen at a blink of an eye at any given moment. At any given moment, something could break out with Russia and Ukraine that would change history forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, change human civilization forever.
Scary.
It's that scary. It's that scary. And the people that dismiss that fear are, oh my God, that's like, he won't shoot me. Like, what are you talking about? People get shot all the time.
I know.
History's riddled with accounts of people doing horrific things.
Mm-hmm.
We went back to the story of the Mongols earlier. There's a story of this guy who is the Khwarezmian Shah, and it's in the Dan Carlin Hardcore History series of the Wrath of the Khan, where they're going to Jin, China, and along the way they have to abandon their convoy because the roads are so destroyed that they can't travel on them because they're so thick with human bodies that have decayed that the roads are all mud. And they see what they thought in the distance was a snow-covered peak, and as they get closer they realize it's a pile of bones. They killed everyone. They killed everyone in the city and stacked them on top of each other and left. That's human beings.
Yeah.
And human beings have been doing horrific things like that. The idea that they won't do it now, that's the same ridiculous idea as no one will invade. We won't do that. He won't do that. He won't. Of course they do. That's what people have done. History is filled with stories of people invading countries, of war breaking out, of horrific death and destruction. The idea that you can just push aggressively against this and there's not going to be some sort of global repercussion.
You know what sets America apart is we have a lot of people, like there's the Native American story that this village was being attacked and the men drove stakes into the ground, tied themselves to the stakes, let the women and children take off and would stand there and fight till they died because they were tied there. We have men that'll similarly do that. We'll fight to the end to do what's right. So, yeah, we can get pushed or we can push other people, but there's still people out there who will fight to the death for what they believe in.
That's why we need vaccine passports to keep those people in their homes and take their guns away.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of it is all connected.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And they're also capitalizing on these horrific events that do happen with mass shootings. But one thing you never hear discussed is what, if any, are the correlations between mass shooting and psych medications.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know?
I know they don't want to talk about that.
The vast majority of those people are on some stuff. Vast majority. But no one is looking at that as a potential cause. They're looking at it as, not causation, but maybe correlation because they're crazy in the first place, which is why they're taking medication.
Yeah.
Not that the medication allowed them to do something horrific. It's this weird thing where people are like doing the work for the companies. They don't want to believe they got duped, so they'll argue in favor of these gigantic pharmaceutical drug companies that don't give a fuck about them. They'll argue in favor of the military-industrial complex's influence over the politicians that they support. Like their team has to win. Like it's a bizarre way of looking at things that people have, and it's very difficult for people to look at it objectively and to really step back and take a good look at it like, wow, this is not optimal by any stretch of the imagination. Like these people that are running things are full of shit. A lot of them are buffoons. They're not exemplary. They're not the people that you want running a society.
No.
You know? If Chris Williamson, that guy was running for president, I go, hey.
So smart.
He's so fucking smart. Why don't he be president?
I mean,
he can't. He's from the UK.
Even when Biden was young, he would just talk down to people, egotistical, make up lies about his grades. He would demean people.
But that was then, bro. He's better now. He's changed after 2 brain surgeries.
So he was never good.
No, he was never the best guy. You know, what is that Obama quote? Never underestimate Joe's ability to fuck things up.
Yeah.
Did he really say that? I don't know. It's a great quote if he did.
Yeah, I don't want that fact checked.
Yeah, I know. That's like I saw this article once that said that sperm cures women's depression, and I fucking slammed my laptop shut.
I'm going to
like,
go with
I've read
that.
enough.
Yeah.
I have read enough.
Yeah, follow
I'm
the
ready to argue this to the death.
trust science.
That seems to be it's maybe accurate. It's
Maybe
not unproven. It was said off the record to someone.
Oh, he said it.
Yeah,
I bet he said it. He's smart.
I'm going to go with that.
Come on, if you work with that guy, you wouldn't be saying shit like that.
The last thing on my notes.
You got notes?
Oh, remember the tic-tac-toe?
Oh yeah.
So you said like something about when you're young about fear.
Yeah.
Is that? Do you think? Do you like hunting bear, or are you worried about like grizzlies or black bear?
Oh, I'm definitely worried about them.
The fear part of it, or
first of all, I think there's something good about eating a predator. I really believe
You do?
that. Yeah.
How come?
Yeah, I don't know. I like doing it. I like eating them.
I know.
I like the idea behind that.
That clip where you said something, and who's your friend? He's bald comic, Bill Burr, and he's like, "No, you fucking lunatic," because you said something about if you eat elk, do you feel stronger?
I said you get more aggressive.
Yeah. So, but to your
But
point,
he only ate one meal.
I'm a
in my
lunatic too,
defense.
because when I eat bear,
Yeah.
I fucking
I think
feel
it's
invincible.
true. I think it's true.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been chowing it for like 4 days. Like, out of respect for that fucking elk that you shot. It's like I'm eating all this shit. I don't care if it's fucking bad.
Does it make you more aggressive?
What?
Elk.
No, Joe, you fucking lunatic. Somebody gets in my face, that might cause me to get more lunatic. I ate a little bit of protein. You had to beat the fuck out of people for like 3 decades.
Yeah. No, but so maybe there is something to it. The predator eating the pet.
I think so.
When I eat bear, I don't know.
Well, people
I feel
do
good.
say that when you eat meat, like a lot of people that get on the carnivore diet,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things they say is it feels like it ramps up your aggression. Hickson Gracie used to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Hickson Gracie, when he was training for a fight, he'd eat a lot of red meat. And there's a video of him from the movie Choke of him going to a butcher store and picking out big pieces of sirloin to barbecue. And he would say that red meat like increases your aggression. And he was a guy who was like, he was a yogi, very tuned into his body. But, I think it makes sense. If you're an animal that eats grass, well, you don't really have to be aggressive because you're not chasing anything.
You're prey.
You're not going after anything.
You're prey.
Like if you think about like vegans, you think of like other than being hysterical, which is probably like they're not getting the proper vitamins, not getting B12. There's a lot of shit going wrong, not getting enough cholesterol, a lot of shit. But other than that, it's like you would imagine like a calm or peaceful type person because they're just eating fucking squash, and shit, But I think if you eat things that are difficult to acquire, like elk and deer and bear. I think, particularly if you eat predators, it just makes sense that you're consuming some of the essence of what that thing is. And there's so much protein in these wild animals. But it's also because they're so much leaner. Like that's the thing with like, certified Piedmontese. You know what that is? Certified Piedmontese is a specific type of cattle that they grow their cattle. It's all free range. They're all grass fed, grass finished, and it's very lean, almost like wild game. But it has more protein per ounce than the average beef. And the reason being is because it doesn't have as much fat. It's just logic. It's just science. And if you look at an elk and compared to a cow, like cows have so much more fat.
Yeah.
So there's less. That's a certified Piedmontese cow.
Hey, can you look up the protein content in meat just so we can see?
It's much higher in like
But does it
moose
have bear?
and elk. That's good. I'm sure it does. I bet it's very high.
I haven't seen bear on there.
Well, it's very fatty. Maybe in a fatty cut, it wouldn't be as high because you've got, like the mass of it. Like if you have 16 ounces of it and 4 ounces that are fat versus an elk where it's like half an ounce is fat, you're going to have much more protein. But then also the elk is that rich color. It's just just looks like a super muscle.
Quality. Yeah. You just know that this is super fuel is what we call it.
Super fuel. Well, the difference between grass-fed beef and grain-fed beef.
Where the fuck's bear?
They must have it in there. Nope. They don't have it? Well, that's just one little thing. What's alligator? Alligator's pretty high.
Oh, there's a bear over there. Yeah.
Okay, what does it say there? Boy, that's blurry.
It says 32.8.
32.8.
That's the most.
Oh, my
isn't it?
God. As opposed to, what's the other ones have for protein?
Can you...
Can you make that...
It's really bad. I can't see the rest of it. Sort of
You can't click on it?
That's from Vortex's website. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
Okay, so protein 33 grams, deer is 38, turkey's 36,
That's
moose
more-
is 37, and elk is 38.
Okay, that's more than I've seen.
It's the least. But I think that makes sense because of the amount of fat they have.
See the fat though? But that's got to be good fat. You know what I mean?
Well, they say it's the best fat.
Yeah.
Like Ranella.
And it's got the most calories. See that?
Oh, yeah,
I
a
mean,
lot of calories, 260.
You cannot beat that fuel.
Yeah. It's good fuel for sure. And it's just interesting to me that was the preferred meat of the early
that says
settlers.
a lot.
That's
That's survival.
Yeah.
They're trying to survive. They're not. This isn't a comfort time like it's now.
Also, bears are probably pretty fucking common back then. If there's no predators of bears, like just imagine what they experienced when they first got here. And, Native Americans didn't even have horses yet, right? So they weren't riding horses and chasing after these animals. They probably weren't that effective at diminishing their populations either, especially when it comes to things like elk and deer and running up in the mountains and shit.
Yeah.
Imagine what that was like. Like when Lewis and Clark talk, like you read the journals from Lewis and Clark when they talk about, it's like they talk about just crazy animals everywhere.
I couldn't imagine.
It must have been wild.
Yeah.
It must have been amazing.
Yeah.
Like what we think of when we think of public land today, high pressure areas, lots of hunters, elk that are scared to bugle, they're going to diminished populations, a lot of trucks on the trailhead. Imagine none of that. Imagine zero, just wolves and bears and mountain lions and deer and elk and antelope and just everywhere.
Yeah.
No cities, no use of resources by human beings. So everything is just in its natural state.
Yeah.
So anytime there's a place like this area right here where there's a lot of water, and that's why there's so many fucking arrowheads here.
Yeah.
An article I just read was saying that when they started selling the teddy bear to represent Teddy Roosevelt is when people stopped eating them because they were so cute.
Wow.
And Teddy Roosevelt was a fucking beast. He
That's
was
when they
a big
stopped-
time hunter.
Yeah, there's recent
That's
article
when they
here
stopped
about,
eating 'em?
Why people aren't eating it? It says like hunters can't sell it, and then the biggest reason I figure like is because back to the teddy bears, which would have been before Disney, so same reason, but just earlier, I guess.
It says the whole teddy bear thing was the Bambi moment for bears.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense.
What-
It makes sense, but it's dangerous for people. It's dangerous for people to do that, to put human characteristics on animals and just think that those
Yeah.
animals are your friends. Like, Jesus Christ.
It's funny you mentioned the Arrowhead. I was running the other day, the day those shoes came out for pre-order, but I was running and I was like, looked down where I run almost every day, an Arrowhead.
Whoa.
Yeah, sticking up out of the ground.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, it was halfway in the ground.
Had it rained recently?
No. Let me think. I don't think it had.
So it might have been sitting there for a long time.
Or a plant.
Oh, no.
It looks real.
Like
but
maybe someone knew you run that way. Hey, Cam here, he's got my fake Arrowhead.
I put it up, but
This is a real one. This is a real one.
Yeah.
Look at that one. That one's perfect.
It looked, that is
How awesome is that one?
That is beautiful.
Yeah. See, where we are now was where the Comanche used to hunt. That's why you see like these streets out here named like Quanah Parker Lane.
Yeah,
and shit.
watch this. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. So that,
Dude, that's a good one.
I know.
Oh
So
my God.
I was running and picked it up.
Oh man.
As I got up there, and I said I don't know if it's a sign because of the day of my shoes.
Oh,
but
that's amazing.
I'm just going with the coincidence.
Dude, you should frame that one.
Yeah.
You should frame that one. There's some people that say you're supposed to leave them there. To those people, I say, fuck you.
I mean,
what are you talking about? Leave them there.
I don't know. There's the tradition, the Native American tradition is like, and archery specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's something that just stirs me.
I gotta be honest though. I wouldn't be comfortable with the size of the cut that little Arrowhead's making.
Oh yeah,
I didn't like that. That made me nervous.
You got to make a good shot with that thing.
But I bet you get a lot of penetration with that.
This is a good one right
That's a
here.
good one. Yeah, that's to wall up something big.
I just thought it was cool. I mean,
Very cool.
I run that all.
But look how little that arrowhead is.
Yeah.
Maybe that was for squirrels or something.
I don't know. It looks good though.
It does.
Doesn't it?
It's amazing craftsmanship.
God.
Someone says it looks like a bird point.
Ah, bird point.
Oh, okay.
Probably was a bird point. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense because there's a lot of quail.
I mean, I run this trail. It's just
That's
amazing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Because I ran and I was like, you know how you think you see something? So I ran up and I turned around and I was like, did I just see? I thought I saw a point sticking out. And I went back, sure as shit.
I found one when I was bow hunting with Ranella. I was bow hunting with Ranella in Nevada, in the high desert country.
You guys were mule deer hunting, weren't you?
Mule deer hunting.
Wasn't it fucking tough?
It was very tough.
Yeah.
It was awesome though. It was really cool. Mm-hmm. Really cool. Really hard, tough hunt on public land up there, and it's really interesting because you really got to play it carefully. You got to really play the wind. You got to really play when they're bedding. You creep up on them.
I've killed a buck there in the rubies.
I crawled. We made our way like about a half a mile to this isolated patch of trees, and I crawled in for like an hour until I got within bow range.
Mm-hmm.
And as I'm creeping forward, my bow fell over. Fell over like I was moving forward. And I leaned it up against this bush.
And it spooked the buck?
Because I'm creeping like this.
Yeah.
I'm creeping like this. I move it and I put it in.
Yeah.
Clank. Boink.
Yeah, that's not good.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
Yeah, I've put crawling like that. I put it on my back, like sitting on my back, and then I'm just crawling. So I got like 2 knees and 2 hands.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of resting on my back, and then so I can stay low. Sometimes, because otherwise you got to keep leapfrogging
The
it.
problem was I was in a corridor where there's like a little trail with these bushes to the side of it, so it was really good for cover. So I could creep in.
I see.
And so I was just putting the bow ahead of me and creeping up, putting the bow ahead of me, and clunk.
Yeah, they don't like.
I fucked up.
They don't like noise like that.
I was barefoot. Oh, I had socks on too. I gave a shout out to Randy Ulmer.
Yeah, Randy Ulmer's
Because I know that's where I learned about taking socks off from him talking about, or taking your shoes off.
There's certain people out there who have so much of my respect. I mean, I know I talk shit about Steve's brother. I got a lot of respect for Steve Ranella, but Randy Ulmer,
I got a lot of respect for his brother too. I just think it's, I don't
like the
He
hateful
feels like he's
stuff.
out of. It's hateful. It's unfortunate that he does that, but I think it just feels like he's out of the conversation.
Yeah,
People want to.
that'd probably be frustrating too.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have their own opinion on things, and they don't think that people are doing it the right way, and they have a very ethical stance on things. I get it.
Yeah, no, it's fine. But I was just gonna say, Randy Ulmer is was a godfather of archery when I was coming up. You know, he's so good, killed so many good animals, such a great shot. And they're just these legendary figures, and he's one of them.
He's such an interesting guy to hear talk about it too.
So smart.
Yeah,
so smart.
Wasn't he a dentist?
Veterinarian.
Veterinarian.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So just a very smart guy to begin with, and then becomes obsessed with archery. And he was the first guy that I heard of that had like a bunch of different releases. So
Yeah.
he never knew how it was going to go off, so he could never think about it.
Yeah, I know.
Interesting.
I mean, so intellectual in regard to archery.
Yeah.
Very measured.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing was luck with him.
No.
It was just like very calculated. But if you ever have time, look up. There's two other guys who died who I think you would just be fascinated by. Paul Schaefer was one, incredible bow hunter out of Montana, and then they called him the last wild man, Bart Schuyler. Both of them died in the mountains. Ooh. Roy told me of Bart Schuyler. Bart Schuyler got eaten by a grizzly when he was moose hunting, but he would make his own bow, flint out his own arrowheads, and kill animals, sheep.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Roy worked with him at Foster's Taxidermy in Alaska, and he's just like, he goes, dude, there's this guy Bart. He goes, he's incredible. And if Roy's saying somebody's incredible,
right?
So there's these
outliers,
larger than life figures. You know, that Paul Schaefer, he's got a book called, or somebody wrote a book about him called Silvertip. And these guys used to shoot 90 or 100 pound recurves.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Silvertip, Paul Schaefer.
That's crazy. 100-pound recurve?
Yeah. Yep. So that's the last wild, that's Bart Schuyler right there. So this guy was just a legend.
Bart Schuyler.
Yep, right there.
Is there any books about these guys? What is that? The Last Wild Man. Is that a story?
It's an article, at least.
In Outdoor Life.
Yeah, if not more than that. I found it here.
Yeah. You never. So he worked at like I said, worked with Roy, or he worked at Foster's Taxidermy, and Roy would go and talk to him.
Wow.
And it's just crazy.
Well, it's always interesting to me that there's people that take a thing like bow hunting and just go way out there with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just way out there, past where everybody else is going.
Yeah.
And you make your own arrows, make your own arrowheads, make your own bow, go hunt moose and get eaten by a grizzly bear. Dude. Is that the guy that got eaten?
Yeah.
Maybe bring a gun. Maybe bring a gun too.
There's something beautiful about
going out that way.
I think. I mean, it's like
I'd rather fucking boom, 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 boom.
He's outliving at the highest level, and sometimes there's a price to pay.
That's true. I mean, he's Johnny was a schoolboy. He's a shooting star.
I mean, that's true, but also I was thinking Nietzsche. I think he said something like that. So
yeah,
both of them.
Well, I think that song appeals to Nietzsche.
Yeah.
It's like the hero. You know, that's the Joseph Campbell character, the hero's journey, the exceptional one,
right?
That everybody admires.
Yeah,
and that's what everybody wants in some strange way. And even if it's just for yourself, even if you're just one person, just prove to yourself that you're doing something that no one else is doing. And there's always these people that do things like that, whether it's David Goggins or you or Alex Honnold, who's climbing mountains with no fucking ropes. There's always these people that are out there pushing the envelope of what's possible. And there's a great value in those people. That's why when someone talks shit about you, I'm like, it's so stupid. It's so dumb because you're discounting all the positive. For you to have only a negative take on someone like you is foolish, or someone like Goggins, or someone like Jocko, or someone like anyone who's got an overall net positive effect on people and a positive influence on people. It's just foolish. And it's really that quote. It's the tragic result of unmet needs. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of it. A lot of it is people just they don't like other people being better than them. They don't like other people doing better than them. They don't like that feeling. They don't like the feeling of comparing themselves to someone. It's a natural thing that animals have. It's just human instincts.
No, we're flawed. I mean,
we're all flawed. You gotta, but as a person, that instinct doesn't serve you. This is what's very important. It's a natural thing. I've had it. I'm sure you've had it. A lot of people get jealous. I struggled with it a lot when I was a young man, but I realized that it's a weakness. And I realized it's dangerous because it keeps you from progressing, because it puts your energy in a very stupid place that doesn't serve you any purpose at all. It doesn't help you at all to be upset that someone else is successful. But that same success can inspire you instead. If you can get past your initial reactions and your idea, this inclination to be jealous, if you can manage that in your head, if you can conquer that in some way, even if it's like a struggle every day, but if you can get past that and just admire what that person's doing, it will fuel you and it will inspire you, and it will actually provide you with positive energy, as opposed to just this bitterness that so many people have, where they just want to sit around and bitch and complain. Nothing drives me crazier than a fat guy with a beer in his hand who's talking shit, especially one that I know hasn't done anything. Yeah. It's just like, I know what you're doing, man. I know what you're doing, and you know what you're doing too, and you don't have anybody around you that calls you on it, and you don't call yourself on it. So you and your fucking dopey friends, you get together and you do this all the time, and none of you are going anywhere with that attitude.
They attract like-minded people, just
well,
like
it's poison.
Just like if your goal is to improve or greatness, you attract those type of people also.
Yes.
So it's,
I think so.
So the people that you can't stand will surround yourself with people just like that, and it's just a big ball of negativity.
Yeah.
Whereas it doesn't have to be like that, because as you said, you might have been like that. I know I was like that, but we're different.
You get over it, but you don't have to like think you're weak because you had it. It's a normal human emotion. It's a normal human reaction. But you just have to realize it doesn't serve you at all. And in fact, it does the opposite. It hurts you. You get angry when you see that person. You get angry when you see that person succeeding. You get angry when you see that person on social media. It's foolish. It's so negative. There's nothing positive in it at all. It doesn't help you.
And if you change, like when I see you winning and see this thing, somehow I feel better. I see you, this comedy mothership, blowing up, everybody just like this excitement. And somehow, for some reason, I feel good.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it. I feel good when you're killing it. And I'm so glad you're doing your own podcast now. And I knew it was going to work like this. I tried to fucking talk you into doing this forever. I tried to talk you into quitting that fucking job. Did anybody pester you more than me?
No. I'll say you were the one. I mean, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I believed in myself as much as you believe in me, I would have done it a long time ago. I don't believe in myself.
You do, though. You do. You just need to get moving, and then you believe in yourself. It's like it's hard to do new things when you've been doing this one. You have this one job for decades, and then all of a sudden you're just gonna get rid of it, and you have responsibilities and a family, and there's a lot involved. But you were at an escape velocity where not only was that possible, it was actually holding you back by not using those resources that you have for that entire day for yourself. And you were making way more money outside of work than you're making from work. Like, that's the time when you're supposed to jet. That's the American success story.
Yeah, I just had never thought. I thought that where I was as good as it was going to get for somebody
Get over
like
it, Sonny. It's not.
And
it's proof.
Yeah,
you fucking got out and you did it, and it's killing it, and I love it. I'm very happy.
And thank you for pushing me.
Well, listen, brother. Come on, that's what we're here for.
Well, and Jamie just had up the website there. If people, I'm going to give away a truck and $10,000. So just go.
There you go. CameronHaynes.com. Go there. All the videos are up. All the different Derek Wolf, my man. How scary is that guy? That guy probably carried that rock like I carry a hat.
He set all my gym records.
Of course he did.
And I was lifting. I was not doing too bad. And he's like, not too bad, old man.
Bro, that's a real Viking. That's what Vikings looked like when they came over with braided beads and a fucking battle axe.
I love that guy.
He's awesome. He's awesome.
But to the whole truck thing is another lesson I've learned from you. I've learned so many, and whatever, we'll wrap this up. But the lesson you taught me was that there's enough cake for everyone.
Yeah.
I have more than I deserve. I'm giving back. Just like you've set this example for me. I've seen you change people's lives. And I want that. I want to know what that feels like.
It feels great. It's fun to do.
Yeah.
It really is. It's fun to help people. I love it. And I love to help talented people, and I love to help good people. It's a good time. It makes it exciting. It feels good for me. I love watching people blow up. I really do. I love watching people make it. I always have. I've always loved success.
I've seen you change people's lives, and it's like it's beautiful. So, I mean, you have mine. Thank you.
My pleasure. It's it's a great opportunity to be around people that are so exceptional that just showing other people them would change their life because they are exceptional. You can't change someone's life if they're mediocre. I've tried. You can't do jack shit. You can only do what you can do, you know. But when someone comes along like yourself that is a very unusual and very exceptional person, I think it's important that the world knows there's people like that out there. There's people like you out there. I think people that think that their effort that they put out is enough, they need to know that there's people like you out there. They need to know that. They need to stop bullshitting themselves. They need to know that there was a guy that was working 8 hours a day, that was running 13 miles a day, and then lifting at night, and then bow hunting and practicing, and was the #1 bow hunter on the planet. Like, that doesn't even make any sense, but that they need to know that. They need to know that.
I don't know about that.
Put your fucking humble pie away.
I don't know.
We got to get the fuck out of here.
I know.
I love you, brother, and I appreciate you very much. Goodbye, everybody.